Welcome back to St. Louis as we get set for the Rams and the Falcons. Second meeting of the season. They met 3 weeks ago in Atlanta. And the Falcons of Dan Reeves were beaten 41-20. They've lost the last 3 meetings with the Rams. For Dan Reeves, as you saw, 313th NFL regular season game as head coach. And there is Kurt Warner as we get set for the opening kickoff. The Falcons have lost 3 in a row. The Rams have won their first 5. That's the rookie Derek Vaughn. He's got a cast on his right hand.
That's the deep guy on kickoff.
Yeah.
That's what kind of shape the Falcons are in injury-wise. When your deep guy returning kickoffs has a cast on, you're in a tough situation.
He is left-handed and will carry the ball in his left hand, but he's got a broken right hand. Jeff Wilkins will kick off. Derek Vaughn is deep, and we're underway. Vaughn from the 4. Finds an opening, bursts through with speed. He beats Wilkins. He may go all the way. The chase is on. Derek Vaughn wins the race. Touchdown, Falcons. His second kickoff return for a touchdown this season. This one is 96 yards, and the Falcons have grabbed the lead. Well, that was coming right off the bye week, and the Rams are stunned.
We take this thing, watch. This is a middle return. You follow the wedge right up. Now see the seam. They get the block right in on there. And then Vaughn just has the kicker to beat to the outside. You know, the Rams players were saying all along, somebody's going to beat this team somewhere along the lines. Why can't it be us? Why can't we show America that we can shock everybody? That was their approach this whole week coming into this game.
The rookie from Southwest Texas, Derek Vaughn, a 7th-round draft pick with his second touchdown return of the season. There's a flag going down. Did they not have enough players on the field?
Offense.
No, they didn't.
5 yards.
Yeah, they were missing one player.
Yeah, and the Falcons players were out there, and they were all looking to the sidelines. Calvin Collins, 68. Heck, it happened so quick, Calvin Collins didn't even know he's supposed to be out there.
So they move it back 5, so the extra point try will come from the 15-yard line for Morton Anderson, who is playing in his 283rd NFL game. That's the second most all time. The extra point is good, and the Falcons, after the opening kickoff touchdown, lead at 7-0.
They get this wall. See, they got the wall here, and over here is the wedge. And Vaughn took it right in between the two of them. Gary Downs with a big block there. That really walled off that side. And then Vaughn took it up into the wedge.
Jamie, if you can
Downs had the block. You know, another area, they talk about the Rams were concerned about defense this week. You know, through the bye week, you always do a self-evaluation of your team, try to figure out where you're at. Well, the special teams was a big area of concern, too, for Mike Martz. Last year, they used to be able to return kicks. Tony Horn had 3 touchdown returns on kickoffs. You know, there was a lot, and they haven't been getting that kind of energy out of their special teams this year.
There is Tony Horn, and he's had kickoff returns for touchdowns against the Falcons the last 2 seasons, but not this one. Last year, return 101 yards. Anderson to kick off. And Horn backs up 3 yards deep. And Horn finds a seam, slips a tackle, still on his feet, beats Morton Anderson, and Tony Horn's going all the way.
Can you believe this?
Touchdown Rams!
No flags anywhere. This is a game of special teams.
The track meet is on.
You talk about answering a call.
103 yards for Tony Horn. A career long. And he's had one in 3 consecutive seasons against the Falcons. This is unbelievable.
Hey, you know, they just came off a bye week. Coach Mike Martz gave him 8 days off, and they have something bad happen to him right away. They don't want to make Coach mad. They want more time off. They're going to answer that call.
There you go. Horn, great job here. Extra point is good.
Gerald McBarrow's had a shot, number 22 for the Falcons, to wrap up Horn right here. Bang. He missed. You've got to make that tackle. You're the safety man on that side. You have nobody blocking you. You're going to the ball. You break down, and Horn made him miss.
How about that? 2 touchdowns in 36 seconds. Pretty good pace, huh? So, the Rams get their kickoff return for a touchdown.
If you're sitting at home and you didn't get to your couch on kickoff, you've missed a lot.
All right, so we'll fill you in.
Derek Vaughn on the opening kickoff takes it back. And then they get the extra point afterwards. And then on the ensuing kickoff, it's Tony Horn out the gates. Breaks a Gerald McBarrow's tackle. Outruns Morton Anderson and down the sidelines with an escort by Leonard Little.
So now the Rams will kick off, our third kickoff, and Tim Dwight.
Now he's back.
Is back deep, and he's playing with a broken rib.
Yeah, he's got the bad ribs. He's got a little flak jacket on.
All right. Let's see what he can do. I wonder if there's a problem with Derek Vaughn.
I'm getting winded watching this thing.
All right, no long kick. Wilkins bounces one. Brian Kozlowski's got it, and he's pulled down. So we'll actually get an offensive series going. The Falcons will start from the 35. And there comes the quarterback, Chris Chandler. Man, is this man resilient. He was knocked out of the game last week against the Giants in the second quarter. Bad ribs, but here he is. Offensive line, the rookie Travis Claridge at right guard. Ephraim Salam's first start of the season at right tackle. Jamal Anderson's got to get it going. He rushed for over 12 yards last week. And that was on 12 carries.
This is like the opening kickoff now, you know? They traded off 7-7. Now they get the offense out there.
A lot of noise. Chandler changing the play.
You got 4 seconds on the clock.
Play action. Swings it out to Christian, and he drops it. Christian usually reliable on plays like that. For St. Louis on defense, Galen Hyder was signed this week off the practice squad. Jeff Sconita's been in for the injured DeMarco Farr, but now Ray Agnew's out as well. Lorenzo Stiles is in for Todd Collins at right linebacker. And Devin Bush is back after missing a couple of games with a hamstring injury. That should help the Rams. 2nd and 10, Christian in motion. Blitz is coming. They pick it up outside, complete to Terrence Mathis. Pushed out of bounds by Dexter McLeon at the 42. A pickup of 6 on the play.
Chandler was on the ground after that one, too. You know, they've got to watch how many times they allow Chandler to get hit. And they, of course, are what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that offensive line. I really believe that if Atlanta's going to have a chance in this game, they've got to protect Chandler. They can't let him get knocked around like he's been getting knocked around. And 2, they've got to run the ball so he's able to set up off of that.
Rams 5 defensive backs. They also bring in Sean Moran and Leonard Little for rush. And now a timeout is called by the Rams. London Fletcher saw something he didn't like. Went to the official and called timeout. We'll step out. We've only played 1 minute 4 seconds. And they're the touchdown makers. Tony Horn on the left. Derek Vaughn on the right.
Look tired, Sam. Vaughn's catching his air. Horn's over there blowing.
They sprinted.
You know you're going to get fast things happening every time you play the Rams.
3 wide receivers in for the Falcons on 3rd and 4. Mathis in motion. Everybody out. Complete to Tim Dwight. He's hit hard, but he held on. Big hit by Devin Bush, a former Atlanta Falcon.
You know, when Tim Dwight's around you, Tim Dwight's always an exciting player. He's going to make things happen. He's got those sore ribs, and you want to set a precedence early. When he's going to come across that middle, Devin Bush is sending a message with that hit right there. He knows Dwight is ailing in the ribs. He's going to give him a shot and hopefully continue to do that throughout the first half to set it for the rest of the game.
First down, Falcons at midfield. Jamal Anderson on the draw. He ran into Keith Lyle, picked up about 4 on the play. Jamal Anderson, as I mentioned, 12 carries, 12 yards last week, and one of those carries was for 9 yards, so he struggled.
Now, one of the areas they're going to attack are these two guys, Galen Hyder and Jeff Scanini. Now, Scanini is in the rotation normally, but he's not a starter. Ray Agnew's out to Marco Favre. You see the seal block right there? There's the seal, and there's the lane for Jamal Anderson. And that's what the Falcons have got to do. They've got to establish, they've got to control those two guys. That's their weak link.
Mathis in motion, the fake toss. Chandler over the middle and completes to the tight end Reggie Kelly. A first down for the Falcons, close to the 30-yard line. Devin Bush rode him down, but Reggie Kelly has been a regular target the last couple of weeks.
He really came on last week, and he's a guy, remember, they traded for him and gave away a big draft choice for him to get him on the team, and Dan Reeves thought that much of him. Now, last year he was kind of gradual and maybe had 24 catches through the course of the year, but this year he's really picking up. He's a guy that can stretch you too. He's got speed, he can get down the seam, and he's got good hands.
Rookie Maurice Smith is in at running back to give Jamal Anderson some rest. A rookie out of North Carolina A&T, undrafted free agent. No gain on the play. Lorenzo Styles in at right linebacker for Todd Collins made the tackle.
Yeah, well, they had the 2 tight ends over on that side. All right, so 2 tight ends are over here. Now watch, there's Lorenzo Styles right here, and watch him shoot and then flatten down the line. When you get a heavy 2 tight end set over here, that's when you know they're going to come your way. And there was Styles coming right off Kozlowski and straighten down the line.
Jamal Anderson is back in the backfield. Rams have 5 defensive backs in on 2nd and 10. Tim Dwight in motion and resets. Chandler with time, going deep, and it's incomplete. The flag on the play. Intended for Terrence Mathis. Dre Bly was covering, and it looks like it may be against Dre Bly.
Yeah, it sure is. Is that Dre Bly or is that Dry Blay?
Howie get on Howie.
Howie said it was Dry Blay. I heard him. Then he blamed it on Terry.
Pass interference. Defense, number 32. Ball is out of the foul. First down.
Well, they create the one-on-one matchup outside here. There's Dre Bly working. Now watch at the end of this. There's the contact. He's looking back, and he had his hand extended. He's going, you have your arm across the chest, and you're looking back. See that arm right there? That's going to come out. That's going to draw the flag every single time.
21-yard penalty, 1st and goal, Falcons at the 9. The drive started from their own 35. Jamal Anderson
right up the middle,
straight ahead to the 6-yard line. We'll talk about Jamal not running with the same explosiveness he had 2 years ago.
Well, it's hard coming back. Watch this matchup. Here's Galen Hyder, the guy they brought up off practice squad. Watch what Travis Claridge does. See that seal block right there? If you're going to shoot a gap in your defensive tackle, it makes it real easy for the offensive line to just seal you off. But you were talking about Jamal Anderson, Sam, and that injury, it takes 2 years at least. He's got the good straight-ahead speed. He doesn't have the make-you-miss in him anymore.
Kozlowski in motion, 2nd and goal. Chandler looking, and incomplete. There's a flag down in the backfield. Maybe holding. Wistrom was going hard against Bob Whitfield, and it's holding against the Falcons.
Whitfield even said, he said, Wistrom, he's going to give you everything he has every play. You can't go to sleep on him.
Holding, 70 offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
You saw what he thought about it too.
Yes.
Watch number 70 at the top, and see his arm up around the thing. His arm was up around the collar of Wistrom outside. You know, that's what drew the flag. Now, as far as conventional holding, it wasn't really holding. That was necky. You know, that was Australian for necky.
That's right. Thought it was a wrestling hold. Falcons pushed back to the 16. It's 2nd and goal. 3 wide receivers for Atlanta. Chandler gets time, throws to the end zone, touchdown, Terrence Mathis. The Atlanta Falcons drive 65 yards. And Chris Chandler getting time found Terrence Mathis.
Getting time was the key, Sam, and that's one thing Chris Chandler necessarily always hasn't had throughout his career, in particular at the start of this year. But he had good pass protection up front, and that bought him time, because for that route to work, you need time.
So the Falcons lead again. They've gotten the ball twice. They scored on the opening kickoff, and then from the first possession from the line of scrimmage, they score an offensive touchdown, their first offensive touchdown since they scored in the fourth quarter 3 weeks ago against the Rams. Chandler puts it on the board. Terrence Mathis grabs it. Actually a 64-yard touchdown drive, and only the second touchdown for the Falcons in their last 14 possessions in the red zone inside the 20.
And it all's coming off the running game. These things are able to happen because they're able to run the ball.
Anderson kicks off, going deep to Tony Horn. He steps up to the 9-yard line. And this time he's pushed back and pulled down at the 20-yard line.
Let's go back and take a look at that touchdown. We were talking about the protection, the guys up front. I want you to watch over here. Travis Claridge, the rookie. Watch where he gets a piece of Moran first, and then he comes off. And also take a look at Jamal Anderson step in and pick this up. That's a great job. And now look at the pocket. That's the most time I think I've ever seen Chandler have this year. And then on the route, Tim Dwight clears. And then Mathis makes Dre Bly bite on the out, and he gets a little bit of separation there.
So now the Rams go on offense.
Put on your seatbelt, big boy. We're in for a ride.
Here we go. Kurt Warner back in action. Play fake, puts it up in the air on first down. And a one-handed grab.
Wow.
Did he hold on? The Falcons say no. And it touched the ground. It's incomplete. Great effort by Isaac Bruce.
You know, that's the one thing you see. Kurt Warner's always going to throw that ball out in front to give his receivers time to catch it on the run. Here's Bruce down the bottom. Just didn't pull it. You saw the ball hit the ground. Just couldn't pull it in.
Attack.
Heck of an effort.
Attack, attack, attack is Mike Martz's philosophy. And the Rams go right to the air. They come out with 4 wide receivers, and now the whistle stops play. And referee Jeff Triplett's going over to the Atlanta sideline. Jeff Triplett in his 5th year as an NFL referee.
Dan Reeves wants to talk to him. He might have hit that button by mistake. Dan Reeves bent over to talk to one of the. He's back there talking to Chris Chandler, and he bent over and hit that button. That's what happened.
He does. He doesn't want to challenge that play.
Well, unless he wants to keep his streak alive of not winning. He's had terrible luck every time he challenges.
There you go. Hey, you picked that up quick.
Yeah, well, see, you know, normally now if one of the fat guys was wearing it and you bend over, then the buzzer gets hit. But Dan Reeves shouldn't have had that problem.
All right, so an inadvertent ringing of pushing of the buzzer. No challenge. And it's 2nd and 10 for the Rams. In their first meeting, Kurt Warner threw 4 touchdown passes in the game, and 3 of them were for 66 yards or more.
Boy, these guys move and shift a lot.
Warner swings it outside to Oz Hakeem, and he picks up just a couple of yards on the play. Let's take a look at the Rams on offense. Kurt Warner just leading everybody with his brilliant passing. The offensive line, Andy McCullum at center, Ryan Tucker, new starters this year. Marshall Faulk having a terrific year again. Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, great receiving tandem. And Roland Williams is stepping up at tight end.
Yeah, they're the 4x4. That's the 4x4 team right there.
Here's 3rd and 8 with 3 wide receivers in. Blitz. Warner gets rid of it, and it's incomplete. Going for Torrey Holt. And the man who hardly works, John Baker, will see some action.
This is a moral victory. That's a moral victory, Sam. If it's gotten to the point with the Rams that if you hold them to a punt, defensively, that's a big, big boost. Not many teams get this situation where they get them 3 and out.
First punt in the month of October. They've played only 1 game prior to this. That was 2 weeks ago. Only their 4th 3rd and out for the Rams this season. Baker kicks it away. Wobbling kick. And it's grabbed fair catch by Winslow Oliver. Right now, the Atlanta Falcons have the upper hand. Kickoff return for a touchdown, 64-yard touchdown drive, and Chris Chandler's heading out on offense again. Rams offense produces. The defense gives up a lot too, Bill.
Hey, that's been the big thing with Mike Martz through the bye week. You know, the big emphasis is on defense. A lot of talk about John Bunting leaving. He was an emotional guy. Dick Vermeil gave that defense some emotion too. That's Peter Junta, the defensive coordinator. Mike Martz said he wants to take the offensive philosophy and excitement and somehow get that on the defensive side of the ball.
Falcons from the 44. Terrence Mathis in motion. Two tight ends are in. Kelly left and Kozlowski right. Jamal Anderson picks his way up near midfield. Pickup of about 6 on the play. Good job by the Falcons.
I've mentioned Travis Claridge a couple times already, a rookie. He's looking pretty impressive. Watch him lead this play over to this side and get the block for Jamal. This is a power O. He gets London Fletcher right there, and there's the seal. This guy, he's pretty impressive. But you see what the Falcons are getting that ball, and they're getting it running, and they're getting it running downhill. And when they do that, this offense is good. When they're unable to do that, it's when they look terrible.
Falcons have been averaging just 65 yards per game rushing. Chandler swings it out to Bob Christian. This one he holds on to, and he's got a first down at the Rams 45. Across the 45, Devin Bush brought him down. There's Devin Bush.
Had that turf toe for a while. Kept him out a couple games. In a bye week, and able a bunch of these guys to start getting better. Todd Light also had the turf toe as well.
And Bush had a hamstring problem. And for a safety, that's bad. There's Todd Light.
Well, if you've got to cover Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt in practice, I imagine my hamstring would be hurting too.
Yeah. First down from the Rams 44. Blitz coming. It's picked up by Christian. Jamal Anderson drops the pass.
That ball was thrown a little bit behind him, but you know, Jam should have caught it. You know, Chris Chandler said, hey, yeah, sorry, I put it behind you a little bit, but a guy like Jamal Anderson should have pulled that one in.
Anderson goes to the sideline. Maurice Smith is coming in.
Maurice Smith is a big back, and this guy is an undrafted rookie, free agent. 240-some pounds, over 6 foot tall.
Second and 10. Mathis in motion. Two tight ends in. Oh, miscommunication. There's the rookie. Chandler ran right into the rookie.
And they're saying fumble on this.
Let's see what the official says. They talk it over. And it's down by contact. It's a loss of about 4 on the play.
Yeah, well, this is the draw play. Chandler comes back on the draw, and Smith goes the wrong way. I can only imagine it was Smith, being that he is the rookie here. And after the play, Maurice Smith and Chandler got up and exchanged words with each other.
It was only his 3rd NFL carry.
This is where the Falcons struggle. Third down.
They have to get to the 34. Rushes on. Chandler throwing deep for Mathis, overthrown. He was double covered on the play, and Chandler took a hit after he released. So the Rams defense stiffens, and the Falcons will punt.
If the Falcons don't get something on 1st and 2nd down, and they get in 3rd downs in long situations, they struggle. They got 27% on 3rd down, and that percent may mean nothing to you, but the average in the NFL, good teams have around 40. The Rams have 60% on 3rd down.
Straczynski, high kick toward the corner, angles it out of bounds. It hit at the 5-yard line, and they will spot it right there. Great kick by Dan Straczynski. 42-yard punt. And the Rams are pinned deep in their own territory. Rams start from their own 5-yard line with their 2nd offensive series. Warner throws, and it is almost intercepted. Good play by Jesse Tuggle to break it up.
Well, they get a double tight formation, eye backs, and you know, you're thinking run right away. Watch the play of the linebacker. There's Henri Crockett here. Jesse Tuggle with a jump. You know what? I'll tell you, Atlanta's playing like a team that didn't have a bye week.
They are fired up. 6 defensive backs in for the Falcons. 3 wide receivers for the Rams. First run of the game. Marshall Faulk across the 10 up to the 12-yard line. Patrick Kearney, number 97, defensive end. Second-year man from Virginia, brought him down. Hey, the man in the light blue shirt is back in St. Louis. Dick Vermeil, who coached the Rams to the Super Bowl championship last season. The NFL Coach of the Year. Great to see Dick. Looks wonderful. Checking things out. Flew in from San Francisco to see his former team. 3rd and 3. Under pressure, out to Oz Hakeem. He holds on, gets a first down. And across the 20. Ashley Ambrose took down Oz Hakeem after a 9-yard pickup. First down of the game for the Rams.
Oh, that was a 3rd down. Remember I was talking about that 3rd down completion percent? A lot of it is because watch number 13. In the face of pressure, knowing he's going to go down, knowing he's going to get knocked around, stays in there and makes that throw possible. You know, that's one of the, I think, things that he does better than most quarterbacks. He reads the field, he sees it, but under pressure, he's a tough son of a gun.
On first down, Falk cuts it back, gets a couple up to the 24-yard line. Mark Semino, number 53, the rookie out of Kansas State, 3rd-round draft pick, is in and made the stop.
You know, the one thing the Atlanta Falcons did last time they played the Rams down in Atlanta was they really took Marshall Faulk out of the equation. Marshall only had 18 yards receiving, and collectively run and pass together. They held them under 100 yards for the game. One of the only teams that were able to do that thus far.
Was that because of Keith Brooking?
Keith Brooking played well, but the scheme of defense, I think that's a big focal thing for Rich Brooks. Control 28.
Brooking is missing his 2nd consecutive game, out with an injury.
Brooking was fast. I tell you, he was surprised watching that film of him play. He can run.
Will we please not blow the whistles in the stands? The whistles in the stands.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
You don't see that very often. But now the whistles are going. That's just an invitation for the whistles to start blowing. Now people are whistling with their fingers.
Ball's at the 23. 2nd and 8 for the Rams. Isaac Bruce in motion. And the other way goes Marshall Faulk. And there goes Roland Williams. Warner. Incomplete. A lot of motion, maybe some confusion and pressure from Travis Hall.
And a little bit of rust showing on the Rams.
Prior to the snap, false start, 88, offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
They got the false start outside with everybody moving around, everybody shifting in the motions. But, you know, they look on offense a little bit rusty. And on Friday when I saw them out of practice, they just didn't look as crisp as they normally do. You know, they had a lot of time off, and your mind wanders a little bit. Guys go home, and they see their families. They go to their alma maters and watch them play. And
Mike Martz said he showed his trust in his players, gave them 8 full days off.
Well, you can trust the guys, but you're not practicing.
Warner. Running and sliding has Semino closed quickly, and Kearney was there as well for Atlanta.
And how often do you see that? Kurt Warner not getting rid of the ball. I mean, that's a great tribute to the Atlanta Falcons secondary. Take a look at the guys outside. Watch them get covered up here. And there's no place to throw the ball. Here, here, and here. And you don't see that very often. One of the things you want to do with a team like this is you want to make the quarterback hold the ball. You know, they say pat the ball, watch the quarterback pat the ball with his opposite hand. If you make him pat the ball, you've got a chance.
4 wide receivers for the Rams as they work out of the shotgun on 3rd down. Warner with time. Throws it completely, breaking away. Isaac Bruce staying on his feet is pulled down in Falcons territory at the 36.
That quick, you can take a rusty team and knock the rust off of it. Isaac Bruce, there's a big jam. Now watch the break on the inside. Ray Buchanan was playing the pick instead of playing the receiver. He goes for the ball instead of the receiver, and Isaac Bruce splits the two of them.
47-yard pickup down to the 35. Warner dropped the ball and hands it to Marshall Faulk, and he turns nothing into something. 20 goes to the 26-yard line. He picked up about 9 on the play.
It's funny. You can see the Rams. They're sloppy. You've had the offsides. You've had the fumbled play. You've had bad throws. You've had bad routes. But you can see they've still got enough that no matter what they do, they're going to get you somehow, some way. Now, you can only hope that for the Rams that a lot of this rust doesn't cost them someplace, that they can shake it off here in the first quarter. It's obvious to me that they're a little sloppy.
With that long pass to Isaac Bruce, Kurt Warner has gone over 2,000 yards in his first 6 games of the season. Only the 3rd man in NFL history to pass for 2,000 yards in 6 games. Marshall Faulk, first down, a lot more inside the 15.
And you know what? The Rams knew that was coming that side. They knew it was coming that side, and they still couldn't stop it. Watch. Look, they shift the nose tackle over to this side. Look at the overload they have here, and they still run the ball there. They've got 4 or 5 guys in here, and they still all get picked up.
Nice blocking. Holcomb, Timmerman. Good job.
The receivers were down there. Torrey Holt was in the middle.
First down at the 14. 9th play of this drive. Fake toss. Warner rolling and runs and slides down to the 13, but there's a flag on the play down to the outside, and we'll check it out.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference since the quarterback did not throw the football. 2nd down.
Thank you, Jeff.
Good coverage all the way downfield. Everywhere you look, people are covered up. You know, they're small. They're small victories, but they're victories. And if you're a defensive team playing this explosive Rams offense, you've got to take great pride in them.
On 2nd and 10, Warner throws to the corner and almost intercepted by Ray Buchanan. But on the near sideline, there's a flag on the play. There was some action in the interior.
Orlando Pace lost his helmet.
He did.
Pace's helmet's off. It popped off in the action there.
Let's find out what happened. It's against the Falcons.
Illegal use of the hands. Yes. I wonder if that wasn't to Orlando Pace's face mask and had popped that helmet off.
Illegal use of hands to the face. 99 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Chuck Wiley. Yep. A lot of times, see, when you get tied up with a big offensive lineman, sometimes you just slip that hand up into his face to get him off you. And that pushed the helmet off of Orlando Pace.
So now it's 1st and goal for the Rams at the 9-yard line. Chris Thomas, number 89, is in as the 3rd wide receiver. He's out to the right side. Oz Hakeem in motion. Warner looking for Torrey Holt. Knocked away. Good play by Ashley Ambrose.
You know, those are 2 guys, you know, Buchanan, who almost had the interception, and Ashley Ambrose. When we were speaking with him yesterday, the one thing they said you've got to do when you play the Rams is, one they said ice your hamstrings all week long because they're so fast. But 2, he says, you know, there's a time in your clock when pass routes are run that you can never, when you play them, you just can't think that the pass is over. Because these guys just keep going. You've got to stay on them and just keep following them wherever they go. You can never think that the play is developing.
Rams have 4 wide receivers in, but the handoff inside of Marshall Faulk. Gets to the 5, falls forward to the 3. It'll bring up 3rd and goal.
You know, that's one thing that I don't think Marshall Faulk gets enough credit for, is how tough of a running back he is. You know, everyone thinks Marshall Faulk, he can use him as a wide receiver. He's versatile. He catches passes out of the backfield. But when it comes time to line up and run somebody over, he's as tough as there is.
Here's a surprise. End of the first quarter, and the Rams are trailing. They've won 14 straight at home, but at the end of the quarter, they trailed the Falcons 14-7. The Rams 14-7. Sam Rosen along with Bill Moss. The Falcons did some great things in the first quarter. Now the question is, can they keep it up?
Well, I think that's a big question. They've got a boost. They're on the road. They're ahead, and the Rams have been rusty. You know, they've got to feed off that. Hold them to a field goal here.
3rd and goal. Warner gets time. Can he find somebody? Yes. Touchdown to Tony Horn. His 2nd touchdown of the game. Kurt Warner has now thrown touchdown passes in 25 consecutive games.
You can't give Kurt Warner that much time. I mean, if you do, you know what the outcome is going to be. He sat back there. He had about 8 yards of green between himself and the line of scrimmage.
Jeff Wilkins, oh, it's a run for 2 points, and did he get in? London Fletcher says he did.
They haven't signaled.
The officials have not signaled.
They have not signaled it yet. It should be in. There's your signal.
The officials are still talking it over.
They gave a signal down there. They signaled touchdown.
Number 55, they reported eligible during the try. Therefore, the try is good. 2 points, St. Louis.
London Fletcher on the shovel pass. The Rams find all ways to score. London Fletcher, 2-point conversion. Rams lead.
Around him, he's waiting and waiting. Then he finds it to Tony Horn, who beat Gerald McBarrows in the back. Now, we'll take a look on the extra point conversion. It turns into a 2-point try. That's London Fletcher right here. Heck, this team, Mike Martz believes everybody is capable of scoring. You got linebackers scoring now.
And John Baker kicking off. And a rolling kick. Kozlowski fumbled it, picks it up, and is down at the 37-yard line. So not Jeff Wilkins kicking off. It was the punter, John Baker. Well, these Rams can score. The greatest scoring team was the Rams of the 1950s. The 1950 team,
Norm Van Block,
led by Norm Van Block,
yes,
Brockman, Tom Fears, Crazy Legs Hirsch. They could put points on the board. They averaged 38.8 points per game, but these Rams average more. Van Brocklin, Glenn Davis, Crazy Legs Hirsch, the coach.
38.8 points per game. 9-3 record. They lost to Cleveland. Championship.
That's right. Now the Falcons go from the 37. Rams leading for the first time. It's 15-14. Mathis in motion. Jamal Anderson cuts back. And with good power gets across the 40. London Fletcher, the middle linebacker who scored the 2-point conversion, made the tackle.
You know, a lot of people talk about the Rams defense giving up all these points and what's wrong with them. You know, it's really difficult because teams come in here offensively and do stuff they've never done before. They want to try to score quick, and they want to try to score fast because they want to try to keep pace with what St. Louis's offense is going to do. So what they prepare for on film all week, then all of a sudden they see something different as soon as they get out there on the field. It's hard.
Christian shifts. Anderson carries, runs into a wall, and can't bounce it outside. Good job by the Rams. And they're pumped up.
You know, one of the guys that's pumped up all the time is Grant Wistrom. You know, I like him. I like his style. I like the way he played. He plays bigger than what he is. He gets more out of his body. Look at him split the double team here and hold that thing up and get in the middle. And I mean, you're going to get a lot of beat there. There's Whitfield, there's Banks coming at you, and he not only holds his ground with that double team, but he separates it and gets a piece of the tackle as well.
Wistrom wanted more intensity from his fellow defenders, and they're showing some. Dwight in motion. On 3rd down. Chandler being rushed. Jamal Anderson, good grab and a first down. Keith Lyle trips him up. But Jamal Anderson gets into Rams territory. 12-yard pickup. Nice play and a good catch by Jamal.
Yeah, but you just see that? I mean, Jamal is one-on-one on the outside. and he chose to just go straight forward and lower his shoulder on him. Instead of the old Jamal Anderson had enough movability in him in his hips that he'd make you miss. But he was one-on-one on the outside there, and he lowered his helmet and tried running over instead of making a miss.
See the numbers last week. Things going a lot better for Jamal Anderson and the Falcons this week offensively. Kevin Carter is out. Fernando Smith just signed this week. He's in for the Rams at defensive end. Chandler completes outside. And wrestled down to Sean Jefferson. Lots of action around the NFL. Let's get an update from JB.
Not the least of which Sam and Bill was the Cowboys have scored 17 consecutive times in the red zone. Stopped right there with Sean Williams picking off Troy Aikman, his second pick of the day. Ricky Williams looking for his fourth 100-yard day at 34 yards in the drive, and the score 7-0 Saints. Back to Sam and Bill.
Still doesn't compare to what's going on here.
All the time. You know that Sean Williams, that safety for the Giants, I think that's one of the top young safeties in the league. He's sensational.
He's playing very well. Mathis went in motion and stopped Jamal Anderson. Right up the middle. Wiggles his way through for a couple of yards down to about the 37-yard line. Let's go downstairs to the sideline to Pete Pearson. Pete.
Well, guys, Jeff Wilkins, the Rams kicker, has a right quad strain. And right now, wide receiver Chris Thomas is warming up in the net. So we may see him. Of course, you saw John Baker kick off. Big difference for the Rams as far as kickers are concerned.
Rams holding tryouts.
Well, that explains going for the 2 points down there with London Fletcher. Now you got Chris Thomas. Chris Thomas is going to be doing some kicking here. Heck, he might even score himself. Everybody scores on this team.
Chandler off the play fake. Plenty of time. Finally finds Sean Jefferson out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Picked up 7 on the play.
You know,
Cleon took him out.
Chandler just turned 35 on Thursday.
Happy birthday.
To him. Yes, sir. You know, and the one thing he said when I said, hey, what do you see when you see the Rams offense? You know, a lot of people say, well, I see speed, I see Isaac, I see Marshall, I see Kurt. He said, I see protection. He said, I see Kurt Warner have all day to make throws. And that's a big thing for a quarterback. He says, when I got to make throws, there's people all in my face. You know, today, he's getting protection. Today, he's getting time.
And you see the numbers, 8 for 11. His 13th year in the NFL, his 4th year with the Falcons. That's his longest stint with any team. Jamal Anderson. Good job by the Rams. It's close to the first down marker. He had to get to the 27. Last week was a nightmare for Chris Chandler as the Giants just pounded him.
They just teed off on
Pete
him.
Monty up the middle.
Yeah, and you know, Chandler, though.
Ryan Phillips.
Dave Thomas
on the blitz.
That's the one that knocked him out there with the ribs. He was out. And, you know, for the course of his career, though, Chandler's one of those. He has as many injuries as Evel Knievel has. maybe more. Every place he's been, when he's down in Houston, when he's Tampa, here, when he's with the Rams before. And this guy's always been whacked around.
Keep him healthy, and he plays well. 2 years ago, he led the team to the Super Bowl. It was a first down for the Falcons. 8th play of the drive. Chandler throwing for the corner. He's got a man.
What a catch.
And the catch is taken away. Dexter McCleon. With the interception.
But they're going to roll him down back there at the 3. That was I thought Tim Dwight had that ball and was coming down with it. It appeared to me the ball was in his hands, and McCleon just ripped it right out of his hands.
McCleon. He outduels Tim Dwight. It's an interception for the Rams. Rams from their own 3. Marshall Faulk gets out to about the 7-yard line. Dexter McCleon with his 3rd interception of the season.
This all started right at the line of scrimmage. Watch him jam and literally mug Tim Dwight. Gets his hands on him here. Now right there, he's got his hand in his collar, holding him up, slowing him down. And he never allows Dwight to get any kind of separation from him.
Should have been a penalty beyond 5 yards, you think?
Well, yeah, it very well could have been, but that's letting the guys play. Actually, I'd like to see that for the defense. Get a piece of the guys, slow it down a little bit, but you need to enforce it like that all the time.
Play fake to draw to Robert Holcomb, the fullback, and Holcomb is up close to a first down. Looks like he's got it. Up and around the 14-yard line.
You know, that's the one thing you can't do when you play the Rams is make mistakes. You know, you figure offensively and defensively, you have around 140 to 150 plays throughout the course of the game. When you play the Rams and you drive the field and you're down there in that area, you can't turn the ball over.
Holcomb and Faulk in the backfield. The play fake by Warner. He's got time, and he goes deep. And he's looking for Isaac Bruce, and he's got it. What a grab by Isaac Bruce. Ray Buchanan was all over him.
Well, again, I can't emphasize the time they had. Watch the time these guys up front give them. They try to run a little stunt here, and watch this thing get picked up. Kurt Warner doesn't have to worry about anybody, and that allows these deep routes. You know, everybody wants to talk about, boy, they got speed, they got this. You can't run deep routes unless your guys up front do an outstanding job. And that offensive line is probably the most improved area over the last 2 years on this team than any place else.
2 catches, 79 yards for Isaac Bruce. This one short to Oz Hakeem into Falcons territory, down at around the 47-yard line. Ronnie Bradford made the tackle, but Kurt Warner is starting to heat up. Warner is getting his game going.
Mike Martz, you know, one thing that he emphasizes with his team, and everyone thinks, well, with all the guys they have, it's all pass, pass, pass. One of his big emphasis is the protection up front. He knows none of this stuff can. He goes into games with 37 different kinds of protection for his guys up front.
Falk gets a block and is pushed back after he got to the 45-yard line. Ray Buchanan with a hard hit. It'll bring up a 3rd and 1 for the Rams.
You know, Mike Martz also, you know, he's got that card he looks at, and he's got everything. You know, most teams, you know, script plays nowadays. Mike Martz, he has his plays, but he doesn't give them to the entire team.
Why is that?
He doesn't want them to think that, well, I'm going to run the ball, pass the ball, because he likes to sit back and see what you're going to do defensively first, and then he'll find a way to beat you.
2 tight ends in for the Rams on 3rd and 1. Marshall Faulk knocks it back for a big hole and a first down at the 35. He needed 1. He got 10.
And he set up that defense. Marshall Faulk set that all up himself. And those are the things I'm talking about the credibility he has as a pure running back.
Faulk 8 carries, 53 yards.
You believe they got that guy for a 2nd and a 5th round pick?
Steal.
And that's the steal. Of all of football.
You got it. Rams have come from their own 5-yard line to the Falcons 35. Earlier they had their longest drive of the season, 12 plays, 95 yards. Here they go again. Looks like the Falcons jumped off. Flags fly. Travis Hall was the first man across the line.
And this goes back to the interception with McLean.
Encroachment, 98 defense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
When I talk about making mistakes, you can't afford to make any mistakes against the Rams, because yeah, you have them pinned up, but look at this drive they've got going now. They've taken the ball, they're marching down the field with you. When you have the ball offensively, you can't afford. You've got to be able to find a way to score at the end.
I have to correct myself. This drive actually started at the 3-yard line after the interception. So they've come 67 yards. The shifting goes on. Falk goes wide left.
And they're right in strike zone. This is their strike zone.
Pump fake. Hit as he throws. Open man, a little too far. Big hit by Travis Hall on Kurt Warner just as he released the pass intended for Isaac Bruce.
But you see where we're talking about the strike zone. This is where they like to get you and let their line block for you and then set things up. Travis Hall with the nice push through the protection and gets a piece of Warner just as he's delivering it. And I believe if he didn't get a piece of Warner, that would have been 6.
Chris Thomas has come in for Isaac Bruce.
He's not kicking, is he?
No.
Okay.
3 wide receivers in. Falk goes in motion to make it 4. And they go inside of Holcomb. It's down to about the 27-yard line. Now, on the opening kickoff of the game, we believe the Rams' Jeff Wilkins was injured. This is where he strained the quad. Yeah, you can feel it. See that? On the kick itself. So Wilkins on the sideline with a strained quad. Be interesting to see what happens to the Rams kicking game as this game goes along. Warner going off the back foot, incomplete, intended for Torrey Holt, who was covered by the linebacker on the play, Mark Semino.
Yep.
That was Falk, excuse me.
Falk, yeah. But you know, that's the one thing that the Falcons, Rich Brooks, has always been able to do when he plays these guys. He can get his linebackers, and all his linebackers can run. Semino, Brookings, Draft. And that's good coverage. You know, heck, in San Diego game, when the Rams played San Diego, and they really got after they used Marshall Faulk against Junior Seau. I mean, they really got after Seau.
So with the kicker hurting on 4th and 2, the Rams go for it. 4 wide receivers in. Falk gets the first down. Still going to the 11-yard line.
I thought I saw a little movement up there on the offensive line. I thought Warner pulled out, or somebody moved early, it appeared to me.
Picked up 16 on the play. Let's see.
Take a look. It looked like Warner moved before the ball was snapped, or they moved. Yeah, there's movement. Warner's pulling out of there before that ball's even snapped. That's a flag. That flag should come out.
But it didn't.
See him move?
Yep.
You can't move like that before the ball snapped.
The play stands, no flag. Falk has picked up 69 yards on 9 carries, and the Rams have 1st and 10 at the 11th. Warner fires, completes to Isaac Bruce, down to about the 1-yard line. Close to the first down marker. 3rd catch of the game for Isaac Bruce.
The Rams just have fun. That's all there is to it. They are stacked with talent, obviously. The system complements all this talent. But they're out there having fun. 4th down, what the heck, we'll go for it. If we don't get it here, we'll get it again. Backed up on the 2-yard line in their own 2-yard line, we'll drive the field. Doesn't matter. They believe so wholeheartedly in everything they do.
2nd and inches to the goal line. Touchdown, Justin Watson.
Yeah, let's get him in the mix, too.
The 2nd-year man out of San Diego State.
Look, and they got to go for 2 now. You see, Kurt Warner has to signal back with 2. We have to go for 2 because the field goal kicker's down.
A 97-yard drive. The Rams' last drive was 95 yards. This one is 97.
Well, I can only tell you that if there was ever a team built that didn't need a field goal kicker, this is it right here. Now, this may be the wave of football, too. It forces you to score touchdowns. It forces you to go for 2. So Justin Watson gets in the mix. London Fletcher gets in the mix. Tony Horn's in the mix.
12 plays, 97 yards. The previous drive was 12 plays, 95. Let's see what the Rams come up with for the extra point. It's inside, and it fails as Falk is brought down at the 1-yard line. The extra point try for 2 fails. The Rams lead it 21-14 after the Watson touchdown. The number 2 tight end.
He was a number 1 blocker on this touchdown run. Watch Ernie Conwell here. Gate Brady Smith and then get up into Semino here. This is a heck of a block. Look at this thing. Wow. Adam Timmerman was pulling. Adam Timmerman didn't have anybody to block.
And that is wide receiver Chris Thomas, 50-year man out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and he's going to kick off.
And the back judge was saying, who are you? Hey, do you know what you're doing?
Jeff Wilkins on the opening kickoff strained his quad muscle. The opening kickoff went to Derek Vaughn, and he returned it 96 yards for a touchdown.
He's a lefty, too.
But he's not in. Tim Dwight is back there. The lefty kick from Thomas bounces down. Dwight juggled it, returns it. Good return across the 35 up to the 37.
Something exciting is always going to happen when you come to the TWA Dome, that's for sure, Sam.
Heralded as the best offensive team ever. We're looking at some of the other great offensive teams of the past. 2 years ago, the Vikings put up tremendous numbers. Cunningham, 34 touchdowns. They scored the most points in NFL history. Well, the Rams look like they're going to challenge that. Chandler on 1st down to Jamal Anderson. Got a lead man with him. That was Travis Claridge. Big pickup by Jamal Anderson. down to the Rams 37.
And Chris Chandler sold that thing beautifully. You know, he backpedaled through it. Watch him backpedal and let the Rams defense get upfield. Look at him. He stands there and lets them get in front of him so that he creates a separation for the screen to develop.
28-yard pickup for Jamal Anderson. Chris Chandler is 9 for 13, 108 yards. 3 wide receivers in. Tim Dwight's gone to the right side. Chandler has batted down.
Galen Hyder.
That's the man who was just signed this year, Galen Hyder.
He's beef. I mean, they brought him in. He's big. He's developed. He was on the practice squad. He's gotten better and better as they watch him. They figure, heck, we got to get him in the mix of things. And what they like most about him is he's a big man who can push the middle of the pocket with that big body.
There's a flag on the play, and it's against the Rams.
You know,
Kevin Carter was offside on the play.
Make no mistakes about it. Mike Martz has sent a huge warning signal to the Rams defense. They cut Nate Hobgood-Chittick, who was a favorite of all these defensive guys, in order to bring in Galen Hyder and you know, get this team better.
Draw play to Jamal Anderson. Big hole. Anderson cuts it back, heading to the end zone. And he is ridden down at the 5-yard line by Keith Lyle. And that's the Jamal Anderson we know from 2 years ago. Beautiful run.
You know, and that cutback lane just should not be there. Watch this play start here. Now watch it come back right where the defensive tackle Hyder was. Hyder went for a ride. That opened up the gates for Anderson. You don't think life's good around here? You know, you got the Blues, you got the Cards, you got the Rams.
Pretty good.
You know, when you're a fan, you're just having fun. I remember in Philadelphia in the 80s, we had the Eagles, we had the Sixers and Flyers. I mean, it's a blast. You could never get enough of it all.
Jamal Anderson, 8 carries, 49 yards. Ball's at 4.5 yards away from the goal line. Terrence Mathis in motion. Jamal Anderson running strong, pushing his way in. Touchdown. Good run by Jamal Anderson. He was shoved back by Keith Lyle, and he took a little exception to it. But things settle down. And the Falcons respond with a good drive of their own, 65 yards.
Well, Anderson, you know, he's a little bit still upset about the last time they played down in Atlanta, when the team bent him back at the end of the thing and Keith Lyle came up and stripped the ball from him and took it all the way down. That's the same kind of thing almost happened there.
Morton Anderson for the extra point to tie the game. And it's right through. Jamal Anderson, 60 yards on the drive, scores the TD. Bill, you talked about the offensive line right at the top of the game.
Well, they answering the call so far, especially running the ball. Watch the rookie again, Travis Claridge. Watch him get the pull out here and hit 59, London Fletcher. Boom, right there. He gets the push and actually just carries Jamal in on his back to the end zone.
Jamal Anderson, good running. Had the screen pass for a 28-yard pickup. Morton Anderson kicks off. Game tied, just under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Tony Horn, who had a 103-yard return, trying to leap over Gerald McBurrows. And Horn goes down around the 23-yard line. Following this game, many of you will get to see the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. Some of you will see Philadelphia and Arizona. Coming up, second game of our doubleheader. Jeff Garcia has 15 touchdown passes this season. People in St. Louis will get to see that game.
He's tied for Kurt Warner right this very moment with the most. You know, last year, Jeff Garcia was the whipping boy for up there, you know? And now he's coming back. Mooch, Steve Mariucci's done an outstanding job with that team this year.
4 wide receivers for the Rams as they go from their own 25. Warner stumbled, gets rid of it to Marshall Faulk. Plenty of room up to the 40-yard line. Problem here is they can't get into just field goal territory. They don't have the field goal kicker. If you joined us late, Jeff Wilkins is injured.
And they're going no huddle.
16-yard pickup. And Kurt Warner is getting close to an NFL record. Warner throws, completes to Tony Horn, and now he has the NFL record for most passing yards in 6 games. He has surpassed Drew Bledsoe's mark.
Well, this Rams offense, they just keep putting up numbers all the time. They put up more numbers than Sesame Street, Sam. It's every time they're out there, it's just something else popping up.
This is some offensive powerhouse. Well, the Houston Oilers, 1961, with George Bland at quarterback. That was some team. Bill Groman, Charlie Hennigan, the wide receivers.
Billy Cannon.
Billy Cannon was the running back. They averaged 36.6, but these Rams are averaging more. And that team won the AFL championship, but scored only 10 points in the championship game.
That guy right there, Kurt Warner, I mean, he doesn't even care. I mean, there's not the numbers, the records, the titles, it doesn't mean anything to him. He's just concentrating on executing and how he can become better.
Rams have 1 timeout remaining. Everybody out of the backfield. Blitz is coming quickly outside. Marshall Faulk steps out of bounds at the 48. First down for the Rams.
You know, the one thing you're talking to the guys about Kurt Warner and teams that have to play him and watch him. You know, I heard twice this week from 2 different coaches, one on the Rams and actually 2 on the Falcons, that they believe that guy's the best that's ever played the game. Kurt Warner.
That's amazing.
You know, in 23 games, it's already being talked about that he's the best that ever played the position of quarterback.
It's going far, but he has been brilliant.
I don't think it's going far.
Everybody out. Warner gets time, goes deep, and it's overthrown. Try to get it to Oz Hakeem, and he's complaining that he was interfered with. Now, you know, we were talking to some of the Falcons, and you were talking to Ray Buchanan and Ashley Ambrose. They don't believe that that's Kurt Warner in a Rams uniform, do they, Bill?
No, yeah.
Who is it?
These 2 guys are funny guys. If you get around Ray Buchanan and Ashley Ambrose, you're going to laugh. They said it may say Warner on the back of his jersey, but underneath that helmet, they believe it's Jesus. And we were laughing in there. I said, well, how do you beat Jesus? They said, there's got to be a Judas on that team someplace.
They're hoping. Hakeem in motion. Warner, quick drop, completes to Oz Hakeem. Close to a first down. Looks like they've got it. 4th catch for Oz Hakeem. 50 seconds, clock running. Rams have 1 timeout remaining. Out of the shotgun, Warner drops it off to Marshall Faulk. Cuts back at the 30. Wrestled down at the 25. Another Rams first down. Timeout. St. Louis, 34 seconds to go.
There's Semino, 53. He's going to draw Marshall Faulk as he slips through and comes out. He's got good coverage. Just make the tackle right there. He's right on him. He's just got to make the wrap up, and it's only a 3-yard gain. And that's what you expect out of it. Marshall Faulk, though, he can be a little slippery at times.
Oh, a lot slippery. The man who leads the NFL in most yards from scrimmage. This is a team that can score in a hurry.
Yeah, well, they've got 10 touchdowns in under 2 minutes of time. That's how fast that they can score. When you make a turnover, bang, they're going to get it. They're going to get in the end zone. And right this part of the field right here, that's why they didn't hesitate to burn a timeout right here. Use their last one. Because this part of the field right here, this is where they strike from.
They have 4 wide receivers in. Falk in the backfield. 34 seconds remaining in the first half. And flags go down. They stop the play. Looked like Adam Timmerman moved.
Yeah, the right side line. I saw a little bit of movement over there.
Prior to the snap, Falk start, 62, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So that sets the Rams back to the 30-yard line. Well, the Falcons were banged up coming into this game. They've lost 3 in a row, but they have come to play. And this has been a real good one from the opening kickoff. If you missed the opening kickoff, it was returned for a touchdown.
The opening 2 kickoffs.
And the second one as well. Warner completes to Hakeem. Slipped one man, gets out of bounds at the 24-yard line. 27 seconds to go. 5 catches for Hakeem.
You know, Mike Martz has a group of plays on his card that he carries around. It's called his shot plays. And they're the plays that he thinks that he's got a shot to take something deep and get after a team. So sometimes we get bogged down a little bit. I'll just look at the shot section, take a shot.
Well, they have to take a shot with the field goal kicker. Jeff Wilkins hurting. Flags go down again. They stop the play.
I think they got it on the Rams again. You know, the Rams have had a lot of mistakes.
False start. 62 offense.
Zimmerman again.
5-yard penalty remains second down.
And remember, they moved on the play earlier where it wasn't called a touchdown pass.
And see, Timmerman spent too much time up on the farm in Iowa. He was up there in a bye week. He was driving around on his brother's combine, helping him do some work up there on the farm.
Back to the 29. Have to get to the 15 for a first down.
Breathing too much dust on that combine.
Everybody out. Warner being rushed. Threw it left-handed.
It was caught.
Falk caught it. Unbelievable. Falk gets out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Kurt Warner was grabbed by Brady Smith, and he turned it. He threw the ball left-handed.
You know, Patrick Kearney lost his shoe on the play. There's Kearney. Kearney was involved too.
What else can they do?
I don't think there's anything they can't do.
Now, did he do that in arena football? Is that where he learned that?
He's learned a lot someplace, I can tell you that. That ball looked like it hit the ground too.
And let's see, we're going to get a challenge from upstairs. The officials are going to rule on it.
Well, it looks like they're going to ruin it too.
Yeah, because all reviews come from the officials upstairs in the final 2 minutes of the half, final 2 minutes of the game, and in all of overtime.
Well, this one shot should show it all.
Yeah.
Umpire was looking right at it too. But how about Warner? You know, here he is wrapped up. Watch him switch arms. He switches arms and throws the thing left. That's amazing. This is the fun I'm talking about that these guys have. It's almost like street ball. You know, they're just going to improvise and make things happen. And that's where it goes back to Mike Martz's theory of, you know, we don't script things. We don't script the first 15 plays or something. I'm going to find out what you're doing, and then we're going to do something different. And he plays his whole game like that. Like it's a cat and mouse game. You show me this, I'll give you that. You stop that, I'll come with this. You wrap up my right arm, I'll throw it with my left arm.
Now they wait for the official ruling from Jeff Triplett, who's checking out. Meanwhile, Kurt Warner with some words for his teammates. Jeff Triplett still looking at the play. John Baker, the punter, is working on his place kicking.
Right, they're going to have the equipment man over there practicing kicks before long. Everybody's been kicking in that net.
You want to go downstairs and try?
I might at halftime. We can get London Fletcher out there. I mean, he can score.
Looking for a place kicker. Well, Jeff Triplett, not certain yet that he's seen anything.
Well, you know,
got to be
what they're going to have to do.
Evidence here.
What they're going to have to do is now, when they look at this, they can look at a few things. They're looking after to where they're going to spot the ball, where it was back, or by looking at this, they can take a couple things. They could go back and say, you know what? He was in the grass. But they can mark that ball at a different place. I think that's what he's looking at, is where they're going to mark the ball. Right there, they can say it's in the grass.
Well, waiting the referee's ruling. He's the only man who can rule on it. It's got to be indisputable visual evidence to overturn the ruling on the field. So let's see. The referee will have his decision for us.
After reviewing the play, the pass hit the ground and was not controlled by the receiver. Therefore, it's incomplete. Please reset the game clock to 22 seconds.
That is correct.
Third down on the 29 at the previous spot, the 29-yard line.
Yeah, that was the other thing he was looking, the time on the clock.
The time on the clock and where they had to mark the ball. That's why when they go in there, sometimes they take a long time if it's going to go back to where the prior spot of the ball was.
So they will spot it back at the 29-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 14 for the Rams. They have to get to the 15 for a first down. 22 seconds remaining first half. The game tied at 21. And the Rams do not have their place kicker, Jeff Wilkins. He was injured on the opening kickoff, strained his right quad muscle. 4 wide receivers for the Rams. Falk in the backfield with Warner. Warner steps up, being rushed and pulled down.
Wow.
Oh, man, one-handed
Did you see that? That was sensational. That was Gerald McBarrows. They came with a blitz and some stunts up front. McBarrows was in as a nickel linebacker.
This is a 4th down, and the flag stopped the play.
Now, Orlando Pace was moved in his set a little bit, and Patrick Kearney jumped.
This is quite a play by McBarrows.
Oh, heck yeah. They come with a stunt, and then it forces Warner to step up. Now, watch right there. He's got his undershirt. That's not even his jersey. That was the gray undershirt underneath him. Oh, boy, there's so much going on in this game. How could you even think about doing anything, going anywhere?
Down.
If you leave for a second, you're going to miss something exciting.
The penalty was against Patrick Kearney of the Atlanta Falcons. So it's encroachment on the defense. So back the other way, 5 yards.
Dan Reeves isn't real happy about it. It's taking an awful long time to run this 4th down, isn't it?
11 seconds to go in the half. 4th and 15. They have to get to the 15 for a first down. Warner, pump fake, throws. Hakeem.
Oh,
Breaks away and he scores.
Gracious.
Touchdown. Do you believe these Rams? 30-yard touchdown pass from Warner to Hakeem. And he beat 2 men on the play, Ronnie Bradford and Elijah Williams. Oh, that's a crusher for the Falcons. Hakeem having a big day.
And they've got to go for 2 again now, remember.
Yep. Oh, Dan Reeves is furious. On a 4th and 15. Hakeem breaks away and scores. He has 6 catches, 64 yards.
And Dan Reeves wants a timeout.
Timeout, Atlanta.
They're playing 3 deep man underneath. And there's Elijah Williams. He lets Hakeem get inside of him in there. And then Ronnie Bradford, who's the safety, comes up in the middle. See right here, you got man here, and then there's the 3 deep outside. And Ronnie Bradford tries to come in and wrap him up. And Hakeem just slips by him.
Poor tackling by Bradford and the Falcons. And the Rams find another way to score. They have had 3 long drives in the game. 95, 97, and now 75 yards. And this one was in 1:53 seconds.
Well, there's 11 touchdowns under 2 minutes then. These guys can do it whenever they want.
Change of personnel. So the Falcons change 4 of their players, 5 players. Three wide receivers in. As the Rams go for 2. They're 1 for 2 on 2-point conversions. The pass broken up by Buchanan and a flag on the play. Intended for Isaac Bruce. It's going to be on Ray Buchanan.
Pass interference, 34, defense. Pass interference occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Retry.
The grab on Bruce.
Well, you know what, though? I mean, heck, you've got 5 yards when he's coming on there. If the ball's at the 2 and he did that 3 yards into the end zone with a jam there, that's within 5. That ball wasn't in the air when he had his arm on him, and he wasn't past 5 yards.
I don't know. It was deep. It was deep in the end zone. From the 1-yard line, Falk bounces outside. He's got the 2-point conversion. So the penalty gives the Rams a yard. They go for it again. They put 2 more points on the board. They're 2 for 3 on 2-point conversions. And the Rams now have a 29-21 lead.
And they're so good, they don't need a kicker. They don't need a kicker. They don't need a punter. It really doesn't matter. Here's a 3 deep back here. Got a man here on the guys inside. We're working on Hakeem. They never get a jam on him. How can it be 4th down and you're on the line and you don't get a jam on the receiver? That's it. It's the same rule as if you've got a Hail Mary type situation. If you're up, jam him. Don't let that guy run down the field. Don't let him get down there. And then you don't have to worry about Ronnie Bradford missing the tackle here. Hey, that's... Elijah Williams should know better. Playing up there in that situation, 4th down, 11 seconds on the clock before half or before the end of the game. Anytime you're in a desperation situation, you've got to get a jam. If you're up there, hit them.
And look at the yardage pile up for the Rams. Don't forget, coming up, the Visa halftime report. JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris, they'll talk about this game. They'll have scores and highlights around the league. Our Fox Sports ticker has up to the second stats. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime report. 22 points in this second quarter for the Rams, who trailed 14-7 at the end of the first. Chris Thomas, the wide receiver, will kick off for the second time. Tim Dwight is back. Low line drive is grabbed by Elijah Williams. Across the 40. And brought down at the 46-yard line, and that's the end of the first half. It started with touchdown returns on the first 2 plays. A kickoff return for a touchdown by Derek Vaughn, 96 yards, answered by Tony Horn with a 103-yard kickoff return. And it didn't stop. 29-21, and these Rams continue to pile up yardage and points. And Kurt Warner continues to perform his magic. 2 more touchdown passes, giving him 16 on the season.
Anything they want to do, like you said, from the opening kickoff all the way through, and it hasn't slowed down yet. I'm expecting a lot more coming up.
We're coming back to St. Louis right after these messages. It's the Rams 29, the Falcons 21.
Into the Visa halftime. Those of you watching St. Louis and Atlanta, if you like offensive football, you've got plenty of it. 29-21 to score at the half.
Howie and Chris over here laughing because they've been watching this game and they love this guy, Kurt Warner. But I love NFL history, and this is a little piece of history for all our viewers. This is Derek Vaughn. He will take the opening kickoff 96 yards for a touchdown. Well, that's not NFL history, but this is the opening kickoff return for a touchdown, and then the ensuing kickoff return by Tony Horn, this one covering 103 yards for a touchdown. Both touchdowns were set up the middle and then break right or left. Beautiful job. We're tied at 7-all. And then Warner back. 3 receivers to the right. They scatter like quail. Tony Horn in the back of the end zone. 3-yard touchdown reception. And then because kicker Jeff Wilkins injured his quad, the holder Keith Lyle flips it to London Fletcher. 2-point conversion is good. And then Jamal Anderson for 4 yards out. He had rushed for 60 yards on this drive. And then we're tied at 21-all. And then here comes the pump fake left. And then Ozzie Hakeem inside move back to the outside. 30-yard reception and run touchdown. 2-point conversion and good. In a wild one, Rams 29-21 over the Falcons. Ricky Williams, 34. Texan, there you are. Ricky Williams out of the eye, over to the right side. Bulls his way in from 2 yards out. 7-0 Saints. Williams will have 90 yards rushing in the first half of this game. Now, Panthers driving, Burline passing to him for Donald Hayes, but there is cornerback Kevin Mathis. He picks it off, interception. Saints awfully impressive in this football game, especially defensively. 10-6 over the Panthers. Aikman, last 3 visits up to New York. 5 interceptions. First play of the game, deep for the Rocket. Jason Sehorn, interception, injured his shoulder, has not returned in this football game. Now, Aikman back again, firing to the Rocket. Intercepted, this time by Sean Williams. Aikman Richmond will have 4 interceptions in the first half. Now, after a catch by Ike Hilliard down to the 1-yard line, play action bootleg, Williams out, linebackers come up, drop it behind to the tight end, Pete Mitchell. Giants 7-0 over the Cowboys.
Baltimore's #1 ranked rushing defense is limited. Stephen Davis just 2 rushing yards, all tied at 3. That in the third period of play there. Sebastian Janikowski for Oakland has missed 2 more field goals. He's now 6 of 13 on the season. Kansas City 9-1 against Oakland at home. They're on top in that contest. Bills and Chargers. Rob Johnson at the helm, 7 of 11, 77 yards. He's guiding the Bills to a 4-point lead over the Chargers right now. And Kent Graham back at the helm for the Steelers, guiding them to a 10-0 lead over Chris's Bengals. Atlanta and St. Louis. You were thinking maybe just keep the kicker out for St. Louis and let him play.
Yeah, well, I have a kicker on that team. It just slows down the offense. But on the other side of the ball, you've got an Atlanta offense that came into this game without an offensive touchdown for 8 quarters. And then they go up against the St. Louis defense, and all of a sudden they're getting this thing pieced together. I say thank goodness for St. Louis's defense, because it's fun to watch them. You know, if their defense was good, then Kurt Warner would be on the bench, Marshall Faulk would be on. Otherwise, now we get to watch them go for the whole second half.
Yeah,
and poor Dan Marino, all his records are going to be gone.
It's going to be a rough week at HBO. You know, everyone wants the Rams offense. Everybody wants to be like the Rams offense. It's simple. All you got to do is schedule the Rams defense. They are on pace right now for 450 yards. This Atlanta offense, it is really a struggle right now for that defense to put anything together. Thought a week off would help, maybe some substitutions. They need to get some people healthy. It's a question mark. How many games can this offense go like this? When are they going to hit a bump in the road?
They love it. I don't think it'll stop one bit. And really, I think Atlanta's played awfully well, and especially in the first quarter. They really got after Warner, really had him off his rhythm. It may take them a quarter and a half to get going, but
yeah,
they've done it.
They got him good. They only got 29
I'm trying to hold the viewers, man. Leave it alone, will you?
That's worse than my losing thing at the beginning.
38.8 had been the previous record.
Louis, where the Atlanta Falcons are trying to keep up with the Rams, but that's hard to do. Our Pete Pearson caught up with Atlanta's head coach Dan Reeves moments ago.
Coach, right in this thing with the Rams, Coach Brooks says basically you tackle and you're ahead.
Well, we just make the play, 4th and 15, and give them a chance to make a play like that. It's tough, and those guys can make people miss, so we got to do a better job of tackling. We got to put them in a better position to make the plays.
Kind of a strange situation with their place kicker out. Does that change the strategy a little bit?
Well, they're going for 2 points every time, so we got to be able to stop that. We haven't done a very good job.
Thanks very much.
All right, thanks.
All right, Pete, thanks very much. And you can see the numbers. Kurt Warner leading the NFL in 6 passing categories. Marshall Faulk has 104 yards to add to his leading total. Isaac Bruce has 88 yards. And Oz Hakeem has 6 catches, 64 yards. We haven't even mentioned Tony Horn, who scored 2 touchdowns.
It doesn't stop. No. You know, and can you imagine being the Atlanta Falcons? You come in here, you think you have a chance, and if you get an injury to the Rams, you think you're doing pretty good. Well, their injury has forced them to go for touchdowns and to go for 2 points. That's the last thing you need to do, is give the Rams extra incentive to score touchdowns and not kick field goals. Now the field goal mentality never even comes into the equation when you're out there. They're getting everybody involved, as you talked about. Tony Horn, we got London Fletcher, we've got everybody scoring.
Morton Anderson kicks off to start the second half. Tony Horn from the 10. Good hit on the play. That's Gerald McBurrows. He's the man who missed the tackle and allowed Horn to move down the field for a touchdown return of 103 yards. He's had a couple of good tackles since then. First half numbers, look at these. 270 yards offense for the Rams, who average over 504 yards per game this season. 2 weeks ago, in their last game, they had 614 yards against San Diego.
You know what, though? I actually don't think that's that bad of a stat for them right now. You take away 2 of the big plays. The big plays, if they want to dink and dunk their way down the field, I'd rather have that than give up that Oz Hakeem play or the Tony Horn touchdown run.
There we go. First pass to Oz Hakeem, 7th catch. He's up across the 35 to the 37-yard line.
And I think for Dan Reeves at halftime, you go in and you get on Elijah Williams a little bit and you tell him, hey, guys, you know, you can't make those mistakes. We talk all week about when you play the Rams team, you can't afford those mistakes. Now, we've played pretty good. We're right in the mix of things. If you want to win this ball game, you have to come out and you can't make the mistakes on the big plays.
Here's 2nd and 1 for the Rams. It's Marshall Faulk, and he stopped. That's terrific
Patrick
tackle. Patrick Kearney, the second-year defensive end out of Virginia. First-round draft pick last year. He's played well.
He plays with a lot of energy. You know, that's what Patrick Kearney does. He comes at you. He is a lot like Grant Winstrom. That time he shot the gap inside. It was a slant play. He just slanted the gap, shot it, and got in the backfield real quick. And was there to wrap up Marshall Faulk.
So now it's a 3rd and 3 from the 35. 4 wide receivers in, everybody out. Faulk gets it out of the backfield. First down, nice cutback, and he's down up at the 48-yard line.
And any single time you get the matchup with Marshall Faulk on a backer, Kurt Warner's going to find him. You know, that's why Keith Brooking being out, I think, really affects this team. We saw Marshall Faulk a couple times. This time he's working on Jesse Tuggle. Before we saw him on Daft, and then we also saw him on Semino.
Marshall Faulk came into the game with 797 combined yards, rushing and receiving, to lead the NFL, and he's added to that with 117 already. Warner to the sideline. Bruce couldn't hold on. Nice coverage by Ray Buchanan on the play.
He was all over it too, and while he was catching the ball, Ray got physical with him. Watch Ray Buchanan, 34, right here. He's letting Bruce run his route. He turns his body, and watch him turn back around on the out. And he played that so well on the spin on the out, because a lot of times the Rams will run that out and then up. So he turned his body to position himself with the sidelines in case the out turned into an out and up. And then when the ball came, he was just physical with him. That's Ray Buchanan knows these guys. And then he talks about it. He says, I would love to play these guys every week just because I know the competition's going to be there.
They love the challenge. Holcomb motioning. Warner's throw almost picked off. The intended receiver was Torrey Holt. He fell down, and Marty Carter dropped the football. There's a flag down on the far side. It's against the Rams for illegal shift.
You've got to come to a complete stop for 1 second.
Illegal motion. Correction. Illegal shift. Offense. 2 men moving at the same time, not resetting. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Mike Martz, in his younger days, idolized Don Coryell and his air show.
Yep. He used to go to all of his Coryell's training camps and seminars when he was living in California.
Ed Jasper has gone to the sideline, defensive tackle for the Falcons, with a foot problem. Sean Swayder, number 93, is in on 3rd and 10. Warner hit as he throws, incomplete. Intended for Torrey Holt.
And a victory. Yeah, you see the little frustration on Warner, too. You know, Warner snapped his chin strap down. You don't see that very often. Watch the presser. There's Travis Hall, gets a piece of him. Bodies flying around. And Warner, look, he's mad. You don't see that very often. That's a big defensive victory.
2 weeks ago, John Baker had his parents come up from Texas to see him play. He never got in the game to kick.
Well, his parents don't believe he plays.
Because the Rams had 11 possessions and scored 11 times. This is his 2nd punt of the game and only his 11th of the season. Tim Dwight, fair catch at the 15.
It's a great place for a witness protection program, you know? If you're in the witness protection program, just become the punter for the Rams. You'll be okay.
Falcons from the 15. First possession of the 2nd half. Jamal Anderson gets a couple, and then he's thrown back. London Fletcher was involved with several players helping out. Mike Jones was the first man to hit Jamal.
Now look at the excitement on Fletcher. Mike Jones, too. You know, you get in there and you start popping, and then those bones and nerves start tingling. But that's the exciting part. And the defensive players, that's what strikes them up. You know, it's that burn, it's that big smack that goes through your body. That's the charge of this game that excites a defensive player.
Falcons go with 2 tight ends, and Kozlowski, one of them, goes in motion. Short drop. That pass was deflected. You think Grant Wistrom is excited? Wow, is he fired up?
Oh, yeah, we talked to Grant yesterday, too. And, you know, one of the things he talked about, he says, we've got to do a better job as a team. Watch Grant 98. He's the one that gets his hand up in the air and knocks that thing down. We've got to do a better job as a team of getting to the football. He said last year we'd stop the film and there'd be 6 guys around the football. He said this year there's 2.
3 wide receivers for the Falcons. They have to get to the 25 for a first down. Mathis in motion. Chandler. Flag goes down. Completion to Sean Jefferson. Slipped one man. Is across the first down marker up to the 26. But let's check out the flag. Against the Falcons. Negates what would have been a first down.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
6th penalty of the game for the Falcons. Jamal Anderson. 10 rushes, 55 yards, 2 catches, 40 yards. Chandler 9 for 13. Now he's got to come up with something big. They have to get to the 25.
There's Sean Jefferson on the sidelines. That's their deep threat guy. That's the guy they brought in for not having Tony Martin last year. They need a deep guy on him this play.
From the 12. Chandler completes it to Brian Finneran. Finneran weaving his way across the 20 and is down at the 22. Finneran, who came out of Villanova, played in NFL Europe for Barcelona, played for the Eagles briefly last year.
Here's Chandler trying to get this ball off. He gets it from everybody. All the Leonard Little's in there, Wistrom's in there.
And that's what he was afraid of, being pounded to the turf. And guys landing on him.
You know, one thing he said the clock in his head is a little bit faster than it normally should be. I mean, he knows he's going to get roughed up a little bit back there. Sometimes that ball's coming out too soon. And sometimes it doesn't come out fast enough and he gets taken down.
Dan Straczynski's second punt. And Oz Hakeem with a fair catch at the 41-yard line. Rams have good field position. They have the 8-point lead and the ball when we come back. We've been talking about some of the great offensive teams down through the years. How about the '84 Dolphins with Dan Marino throwing 48 touchdown passes? Clayton with 18 touchdown catches. They averaged 32 points a game, and they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they lost. And when we talked about the 50s Rams, they lost in a championship game. And we talked about these teams, the Vikings, they lost. So that's why Mike Martz is so concerned about his defense, because he's going to need his defense at some point in time.
Marshall Faulk, big hole. Faulk with a nice move down to the 43 of the Falcons. Marshall Faulk. You know, we talk about Warner, we talk about the receivers. This guy puts it all together.
Well, take a look here. They're going to come with a... Watch Ryan Tucker. They get the squeeze down and say, watch it. See that? They get that seal outside. That's the power O. They got Holcomb blocking, leading the way. They got the push down with Ryan Tucker.
11 carries, 83 yards for Marshall Faulk. 2 tight ends in for the Rams from the Falcons 42. The draw play to Faulk. Nothing there. Brady Smith. And with help from Patrick Kearney. Update on the Giants and Cowboys. Let's go to JB.
Hey, Sam, if Ryan Tucker was helpful in your game, take a look at Jason Tucker here for Dallas. Kickoff return of 90 yards, helping the Cowboys to set up a 2-yard pass play from Aikman to Robert Thomas. It's now 10-7 Giants, 7:59 left in the third. Back to Sam and Bill.
Cowboys watching what was going on here with those kickoff returns.
Seems to be that theme, doesn't it?
Giants, Washington, tied at the top of the division at 4-2. Eagles playing later at Arizona. They're 3-3. 3 wide receivers for the Rams. That's Oz Hakeem in motion. Warner, complete. Isaac Bruce, excuse me, that's Torrey Holt inside the 25.
Marshall Falk.
Oh,
Watch.
I'm sorry. I'm getting them all mixed up here.
You never know. They cross so much and they do everything. The Rams offense with their routes, they don't run routes where it's a curl or a hitch. There's guys coming all over the place. All their routes are go routes. So they're not go meaning down the field, but they never stop. It's the slants. Here's Marshall Falk. Watch him come back across. See him? They're routes that never stop running. You don't see the outs. You don't see the curls. You don't see a hitch. You don't see a comeback. All the routes are always attacking because Kurt Warner will hit them on the run.
First down, Rams at the 24. Quick out to Torrey Holt. Cut it back inside. Gets inside the 15. And you know what? They spread it around. Everybody gets a piece of the action.
You think we can get some? Jesse Tuggle comes up the middle. Watch Holcomb. You talk about the team and the team concept. Watch Holcomb bang. He gets into Jesse Tuggle, and Jesse Tuggle at that time could have had a free shot on Kurt Warner. That ball came out fast on the smoke route, but it's the licks you get at Warner that count.
2nd and 1 at the 15. It's Holcomb for the first down. With power, he pulls his way down about the 12-yard line.
And they're down in that area, Sam, where, normal teams would think, well, we're down in here. We're going to score. We're either going to get a touchdown or we're going to get a field goal. There is no field goal equation in it anymore.
Yeah.
And when you're doing that to the Rams, that's like putting nitric oxide in a Ferrari. You just don't need to go any faster.
Here's a bad sight. Travis Hall, maybe the best defensive player on the team right now, especially on the defensive line, is hurt. They lost Shane Dronette 3 weeks ago. And that hurt the defense of the Falcons. And here's Travis Hall.
And he's been supplying a lot of that pressure right up the middle. And that's how you rattle Kurt Warner. Right in the face of him, right up the gut. And Travis Hall, 98, has been doing that today.
Rich Brooks, the former head coach of the Rams. He was here in 95 and 96. He's the defensive coordinator, and he's concerned about his player.
Well, he's right in the middle of this thing. Right here. And in this pile, his leg looks like it's going to get caught. Ow. He gets crinkled over a little bit.
Travis Hall being checked out. We'll be right back. Off to the sideline, replaced by Sean Sueda. We're told by our Pete Pearson along the sideline there may be an abdominal strain.
He got bent over that pile and then slammed down on that turf. And that turf, Sam, is hard. It's one of the hardest turf fields in all of National Football League. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Mike Martz about it before the game. I said, this field's something else. It's hard. He said, yeah, it's not a very good field, but it's a fast field, and we're keeping it.
1st and 10 at the 12. Isaac Bruce in motion. Warner throws it outside. Robert Holcomb inside the 5. Touchdown. There's enough to go around for everybody. And the fullback, Robert Holcomb, comes out of the backfield. 3rd touchdown pass of the game for Kurt Warner. And the Rams are over the 30-point mark for the 12th consecutive game. They're just adding to their NFL record as they pile up the points. And again, with Jeff Wilkins out, the place kicker hurt himself on the opening kickoff. The Rams going for 2. They're 2 for 3 on 2-point conversions. They have 4 wide receivers in. Faulk in the backfield. Faulk running. He's at the goal line. He's in. 2 points, good.
This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. If I was going to open a nightclub in town, I'd call it the Rams because everybody scores.
On the 2-point conversion, right tackle Ryan Tucker was injured on the play.
Yeah, there's Tucker, number 50 in here. Now he gets caught up in the wash, and watch his leg right here. See it? Pull. He gets the Marshall Faulk, and the whole pile lands on that thing.
And he was helped off to the Rams locker room.
Well, that's a big loss for him, too, because, I think he's played well. They filled in. They lost Freddie Miller, and he came in. I actually think he's played better than what they had there last year.
Chris Thomas, left-footed. Line drive kick bounces down to Tim Dwight. Has trouble with it. Slips, goes outside. Dre Bly's got him and shoves him out of bounds. Well, this Rams team is putting up some numbers with great offense. How about one of the great offensive teams of the past? The 1967 Oakland Raiders and the Mad Bomber Darryl LaMonica. Freddie Bolitnikoff was on that team, and Billy Cannon, who we showed you earlier with the Oilers, was a running back.
Tight end. He was a tight end with the Oakland. Yeah, he was a running back in Houston, and then Blanda was there too.
And that Raider team went to the Super Bowl.
And they lost to the Green Bay Packers. This is why Mike Martz has a concern about his defense.
Now the Falcons, 16 points behind. Chandler on first down gets time. Intended for Terrence Mathis. Flag on the play. Mathis still had his back turned when the pass was thrown, but the penalty is going to be against the Rams.
Pass interference, 41 defense.
It's on Todd Light.
You got to keep those hands up. Watch where the hands are, right inside on his collar. He's got him tied up. Why the ball's thrown? See, he was inside of 5 yards there, Sam, and he can have the right to that jam. But when that ball is in the air, he can't have his hands on it.
First down, Falcons at the 30. They need something here to stay in the game. Delay to Jamal Anderson. He's tripped up, got about 2 on the play. Sean Jefferson is on the sideline for the Falcons. Re-aggravated a back problem. Tim Dwight is in for him. What's the plan for the Falcons here to try and get back in the game?
Well, you know, they're not going to air it out because that's not the style of ball they play. They've got to stay with what they do, and they've got to get more yards on first down if they're going to run the ball. You know, 2 yards on first down puts them in a bad situation. Second and long, and then that can transpire very quickly in the third and long, and that's where they're not successful.
Chandler gets time, and the ball is dropped by Terrence Mathis, and you can't have something like that. Lorenzo Styles was near Mathis. That ball should have been caught.
And then there's the situation we're talking about, third and long now. I mean,
Chandler gets plenty of time.
A good throw. And a situation where Terrence Mathis has to make that catch. Absolutely has to make that catch. And then you get yards after the catch. He was on the run there.
Jamie German, number 87, is in. 3 wide receivers for the Falcons on 3rd and 8. Here's the blitz. Mike Jones takes him down. First sack of the game for the Rams. Their 19th of the season.
Yeah, and it's a third down. And the Rams, that's their... For the Falcons, that's their area where they struggle. Here's Mike Jones. Bob Christian has to be able to see that right off the bat. He can't be the flare guy. He's got to be able to see that coming. Somebody's got to pick up Mike Jones.
Second sack of the season for Mike Jones. Dan Straczynski's 3rd punt of the game. Oz Hakeem is deep. Good kick. Hakeem backs up to the 24. Avoids one man and another. Picks up a couple of blocks. Flag on the play. Great return for Oz Hakeem. Tries to beat Straczynski. Tiptoes the sideline. He stepped out of bounds, but there's a flag all the way back at the Rams 25-yard line. And I think Todd Light is going to get called for a penalty here.
Block in the back.
Yep. You got it. 51-yard punt. A good one by Straczynski. Great return by Hakeem.
Oh, heck, that doesn't bother the Rams. That was just a little exercise period for him right there.
Eagle bot in the back. 41 return team.
Say that again.
10-yard penalty. First down.
Sometimes you get tongue-tied in front of 65,000 people.
You don't have to tell me about it. That happens to me regularly.
Todd Light, penalty against the return. Coming your way. We're heading for Green Bay after this one. San Francisco and Green Bay. That should be a high-scoring affair. And we've got Philadelphia and Arizona for some of you as well. Those of you in St. Louis will see the 49ers with Jeff Garcia and Brett Favre and the Packers. Marshall Faulk breaks through the hole, spins away, and here he goes. They chase him out of bounds. Buchanan and Tuggle chased Marshall Faulk. He went out at the 44. He picked up 29 on the play, and he's over 100 yards.
And the Rams came out, and they went right at where Hall would have been. Watch in here. Down block, lead up on the backer. That's right where Travis Hall normally plays. They come in there, they get the double down with Timmerman, they block the end outside and lead up with Holcomb. That makes it look simple. They will attack you and expose you where your weaknesses are. They'll find out where they're at, and they'll get you.
Cameron Spikes is in at right tackle, replacing the injured Ryan Tucker. Screen pass dropped by Marshall Faulk. First mistake he's made all day. Let's check in with the Cowboys and the Giants. Let's go to JB for an update.
Faulk breaking loose there. Emmitt Smith had been kept relatively in check, although he had 33 yards on this drive, including that touchdown scant. 151 all-time touchdowns for Emmitt. 14-13, Dallas back to Sam and Bill.
From one of the greats, JB, watching the other great, Emmitt Smith. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. Emmitt Smith, congratulations to him and the Cowboys. Nice comeback in that game.
Sam, stop lying.
I gotta give him credit.
Hey, you're the biggest New York Giants fan going.
Right, so they stuck a dagger in my ribs, you know. Warner on second down. Gets time. He's got it. Torrey Holt out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
Man, oh, man.
They do it all. Warner getting closer to another 300-yard passing game.
You know, Holt, a guy that really hasn't been in the mix that much this whole game, but they're going to find a way. Here he is working on Buchanan, and see him settle down in the zone. You know, they got a little zone in there, and he'll work his way to the hole. And talking with Kurt Warner on Saturday, that's what he said. I said, how do you throw the ball to these guys all the time when they're just running their routes? Where do you lead? He says, I throw to the hole. He says, I don't focus in on one thing. Wherever the holes are in the zones or the defense, I'll throw to that area. I know my guys will get there.
Empty backfield. And he still has time, and he's got an open man, but they misread each other. Isaac Bruce was wide open, but Bruce turned in. The pass went out, and it falls incomplete. Mike Martz is unhappy.
Yeah, and Warner is too. They got in that bunch formation, you know, that causes so much, just confliction for a defense. Here they are over here. Here's the bunch group. Now these three guys got to handle them, and the safety's going to come in over the back over here. But watch what they do. The inside guy goes out, the middle guy goes here. Then there's Isaac Bruce all alone.
And the pass going wide. Rams are over 400 yards total offense in the game.
Blitz.
Warner hit as he throws.
He took a shot too.
Way overthrown. And he gets up. He's a tough guy. Ronnie Bradford and Ray Buchanan. Ray Buchanan covered Isaac Bruce on the play. Ronnie Bradford on the blitz with the hit.
Yeah, and he got a pretty good shot on Kurt too. His arms were up. Bang. You know, and talking to defensive coordinators that have to prepare for Kurt Warner, you know, the philosophy always is, well, what do you do to a high-powered offense? Well, knock the trigger man around. That's the way. That's the mentality of the NFL. Get to him, blitz him, rattle his cage, hit him. But hitting and rattling doesn't affect Kurt Warner.
On third down, being rushed, and the pass is off the hands of Torrey Holt, incomplete. Travis Hall, who's back in the game, had to hit on Kurt Warner after he threw. And that's the good news for the Falcons, that Travis Hall was okay.
And no field goal kicker.
They have no place kicker, so they're going for it.
Heck, like I said, that's the worst thing you can do to this Rams team. Give them 4 downs to compete. I mean, normally you think, go ahead, send the kicker out. We'll get 3 out of it. No big deal. Now you're putting them in a situation where they get another down, and they are so potent.
They find the way. They need to get to the 18 for a first down. 3 wide receivers in for the Rams. Under pressure, Warner steps up, and they got him. 3rd sack of the game for the Falcons. And the ball is turned over on downs. Patrick Kearney, Travis Hall, and Sean Swada, 3 of the front 4 in on the sack. Maurice Smith, number 43, is in the backfield for the Falcons as they go 1st and 10. Chandler sends everybody out. Pass complete to Terrence Mathis, and it looks like he got enough for a 1st down. Falcons still going without Sean Jefferson, who's out with a back problem.
And the Falcons getting a little 3 wide of their own, too. They got in that bunch group over there.
Nice catch by Mathis.
Trying to bounce back from that drop pass he had in the last series. You know, I'd like to say this about the Rams, you know, and they have been rusty today. When they go back and watch this tape, they'll see plenty of things that they've done that they haven't been sharp at doing. But can you imagine not being sharp and having over 400 yards of offense and 37 points? You know, that's scary.
Next week they go to Kansas City, and they expect to be sharper. Well, this is a team, it's still early in the season, but people are talking about the possibilities of the Rams running the table and going undefeated all season long, which is just so tough to do in today's game.
You know, and they have the mentality, the makeup of the team, the structure of this team, and the professionalism of all its players. They have that mentality and capability. It wouldn't shock me if they did.
1st down, Falcons at the 43. Jamal Anderson is back in. On the draw play.
Nice cut.
Good run by Jamal up to the 49. Pickup of about, got 5. They'll spot it just across the 48-yard line. Jeff Sconina made the tackle.
You know, pretty good cut in here by Jamal Anderson. As this thing gets bunched up, watch, he's going to make London Fletcher miss. So here's Fletcher. He's going to come out and watch him take it, and bang, he takes it back up the other way. You know, that's a veteran running back, knowing his limitations with his legs and the injury and what he's doing, and letting the defense commit and then coming back off of it.
Last week, 12 carries, 12 yards. This week, 12 carries, 63 yards. Anderson again. Just across midfield, he's ridden down about the 49-yard line. Mike Jones leading the charge, number 52 for the Rams.
Jones was in there. Fletcher was in there. Watch Fletch. Fletch, he's a small guy. You know, he's not very tall. Watch him weed his way through. See him weed his way through there? And that's like a little Tasmanian devil. He's in there. You can't even see him. If you're Jamal Anderson, you're running, and you can't even see him. You see your offensive linemen's up high, and then there's defensive linemen, there's bodies. And here this guy, London Fletcher, just works his way through everything, comes up with a big tackle.
3rd and a short 2. Have to get to the 47 for a 1st down. Chandler throwing. He's rushed. In trouble. Down he goes.
Get rid of the ball.
Sean Moran with a 2nd sack of the day for the Rams as the defense has played better in the 2nd half.
Yes, they have. And I think in particular the 2 tackles inside have really stepped their game up. There's Galen Hyder. He pushed the pocket, and Moran was working on the outside.
Former Buffalo Bills Sean Moran.
Fernando Smith was in there too, the newly acquired Fernando Smith.
Former Minnesota Viking. Good high kick by Straczynski. Fair catch, wave 4 by Oz Hakeem, and he takes it at the 12-yard line. Was bumped after the whistle, but that was Derek Vaughn trying to stop. No flag on the play. 45-yard punt. Well, talk about some of the great offenses of the past. Joe Theismann, John Riggins, and the 83 Redskins. They could run it. They could throw it. They could catch it. That team could score. And they went to the Super Bowl.
A Super Bowl. Against the Raiders.
33.8 points. But these Rams have even more. What a lineup that was.
So you kind of gathering a theme with these high-powered offense. The 50 Rams, the 98 Minnesota Vikings, the 84 Dolphins.
They go a long way.
And they put up a lot of points. But they all failed in the championship.
They don't win the big one.
Well, that's why Mike Martz, I believe, is so concerned with the defense.
Rams go from the 12-yard line. That's Cameron Spikes at right tackle, replacing the injured Ryan Tucker, who will not return. Falk cuts it upfield. Got about 3 on the play. X-rays on Ryan Tucker were negative. He's got an injured left ankle, but will not return. 2-yard pickup on the play.
There's Steve Everett,
backup center.
Yeah, the free agent acquisition. He was Philadelphia. Right? He was with Philadelphia for a long time. When they lost Gruda-Doria at center in the offseason, they had a scramble to try to get a center. They got Everett, and then Everett was replaced by Andy McCollum.
End of the third quarter. Rams put 8 more points on the board and lead 37-21. The Rams have a lot of offensive weapons and offensive coaches. 2 offensive line coaches.
2 of them, that's right. Jimmy Hannafin on the left. And Jimmy handles all the technique with the guys. John Matsko, he spends his whole week going over protections. Remember we talked about this offensive line group has 37 protections?
Warner on second down. Swings it out to Marshall Faulk. Semino took him down up close to the 20-yard line. 38 plays, blitz 20 times, 3 sacks on Kurt Warner.
But, you know, Mike Martz has the foresight to know that his system is complex. And for all this motion and shifting and all these things to happen, you know, that's the big thing you talk about when you talk to other teams that say all the motion and shifting. See, now the defenses move around. When you have all this tight end to one side and the other, your strength changes, so your defense moves. And so then it's hard to pick up all the different protections.
On third down, 3 wide receivers in. Falk with a catch, and he's got enough for the first down. Good effort. Ronnie Bradford tried to stop him, couldn't do it. Marshall Faulk, great receiver, great runner, great player.
Just great. You know, again, I'll go back and say, for a 2nd and a 5, 5th-round draft choice. The ball was out of his hands, bobbling. He almost broke the tackle of Bradford right there and took it. And what he is to this offense is what Chris Carter is to the whole team. I'll say that for the team. What Marshall Faulk is to the Rams team is what Chris Carter is to the Minnesota Vikings. It's that kind of leadership. It's that kind of professionalism that he brings to not only that, but all the young guys. He's a teacher.
Draw play to Falk. A big hole and a big carry. Up to the 45-yard line. Now it's Marshall Faulk taking over. He's caught 7 passes for 78 yards. He has rushed for well over 100 yards.
And remember, this guy's a guy that came to a 4-12 team. You know, things weren't looking real good. And he came out of Indianapolis, which was amazing, with a kind of a bad rap about him. That maybe he wasn't a team guy, that he wasn't in it for everything else. Maybe his frustrations of just not winning there at that time were some of the things that bothered him, because what he is here is a guy that's been through that humble stage of his life in his career, and he's carrying everything on. He appreciates every play.
Season high 134 yards rushing for Marshall Faulk. Justin Watson is in, number 33. He gets up to the 49-yard line. On the sideline just moments ago, here's what our cameras picked up. That's Pete Junta, the defensive coordinator, working with his defense, pulling them all together, getting some spirit.
Getting them rallied up. You know what he just promised them? He promised them cake. See, that's right. Every Wednesday when they win, his wife makes a chocolate cake and a vanilla cake. And Wednesday they come in the morning and they sit there, and DeMarco Farr brings the milk. And they have cake and they eat cake and they have milk. That's pretty good.
You want to go to those?
I might come in Wednesday.
I think so. Warner sends everybody out. Outside of Marshall Faulk. There's a flag on the play. Good pickup, but this may be brought back. Going to be on the Rams at the line of scrimmage.
You know they're going to have an illegal chop block. Yeah, see.
Ooh, and
there's
Sean Swade is shaking up on the play.
A lot of times when you get by an offensive lineman, a back.
Chop block. Offense, number 67. 15 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
A back or another lineman will come and at the last second kind of dive at the legs, when the initial lineman who had already missed the block is trying to fight back. So it ends up, it looks like somebody's getting high load.
Look who just dropped in on us here. The former coach of the Rams. Are you having a good time?
I didn't drop in. You called me in.
Oh, well, you know, we like to get your input. Yeah. Hey, it's nice to see you.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Are you enjoying retirement?
Yeah, I am. I'm not retired, but I'm enjoying myself.
Well, you're retired from
I'm just
coaching.
not coaching. Yeah. I'm coaching today. I called all the good plays.
You did all the good ones?
I called the kickoff return.
Do you miss the game?
Oh, yeah. I miss the players, the coaches, my management staff. I miss that relationship and competition and the feeling you gain being together. You know, you know that, Bill.
Is it hard to watch these guys, the guys you were just down there with last year?
No, it's not hard at all.
Here's Warner dropping it off to Justin Watson. Spins. And is brought down around the 37. Time for an update on the Cowboys and the Giants. Let's go back to JB.
Hey, Sam, tell Bill what is hard is watching Troy Aikman today as he throws his 5th pick of the game against the Giants. 10th against the Giants in the last 4 games at the Meadowlands. Most ever in his career, that 5. And Ron Dane capitalizes with the touchdown run. 2-point conversion, no good. 19-14 Giants. 9:23 left in the game. Back to Sam and Bill.
And Dick Vermeil. And Dick, tell us what you think of this offense that Mike Martz has put together.
Well, it was spectacular last year. I think it's better this year in that they're a year into it. Kurt Warner is a seasoned, better experienced in the scheme. I think Mike now better realizes what all the talent that he has, what they can do, and he takes advantages of it.
And that one is picked off by Ray Buchanan. Uh-oh. Didn't want to give him any bad luck there.
Hey, you know, you're going to make a play,
Tell me
mistake once in a while.
You're right. Well, we're going to get into Kurt Warner in a minute. Here's that pick.
Yeah, what he didn't see Ray Buchanan on the sidelines. And what he saw was an open receiver. Buchanan comes off the sidelines.
8th interception on Kurt Warner this season. Falcons still within striking distance. Go from their own 47. Christian in motion. Chandler gets pressured, dumps it off to Jamal Anderson. With room to run, he's upended inside the 40 at the 38-yard line. Dick, what about the Rams defense? What do you make of what's been going on? Are they in trouble?
No, I don't think they're in trouble. They've been injured. You know, right now, as I watch, there's 2 starting defensive tackles and not even uniform. And regardless of how good you are, you can't take your best players out of the lineup and compete as you were when they were all healthy. And Devin Bush is just back at strong safety now, and that helps, but they haven't been able to keep that defense healthy all at the same time.
First down Falcons at the 38 after a 15-yard pickup.
Yeah, Kozlowski at the far end there jumped off the sides a little bit.
Crowd got real loud.
Oh, you see, he was wide open on the last play.
85
Kozlowski was running down the seam wide open, saying he came back and told Chandler he was open. They probably wanted to call that same play again. A lot of times guys get real excited when their number's called.
Here's one of the injured guys you're talking about, DeMarco Farr. They miss him.
Oh, yeah, not only physically, but emotionally. He's a fine leader, and Ray Agnew right next to him right there. They're both outstanding people and also outstanding football players.
Dick Vermeil has joined us in the booth here in the 4th quarter. The play fake by Chandler. Sideline overthrows Terrence Mathis.
And Dick, as you talked about earlier too, Peter Juntas called your defenses for 2 years while you were with them, all the way through the Super Bowl.
All the way through the playoffs, all the way through the Super Bowl. And, you know, I think sometimes you can almost lose an emotional edge. Bill, you can remember this. You got a great offensive team. It takes a little pressure off the defense. Maybe you lose a little edge of intensity.
2nd down. Crowd trying to give the defense some intensity. Jamal Anderson runs into a wall. Rams defense has done a good job here in the 2nd half.
Yeah, they sure have, Sam, and I think you're right. And I think the big area has been in the middle. Skonina and Galen Hyder in his first active game. Watch Hyder. Hyder 94 is going to be the one that stuffs this whole thing up. They're trying to run the draw here. But watch him. See him sit on this? Now watch him sit back inside. And that's enough to create a pile in there. It wasn't picture perfect as a play, but it did create a pile.
Maurice Smith, number 43 in the backfield now for the Falcons, who have to get to the 28 for a first down. Chandler gets time. Looking for Mathis, and he overthrew him again. A couple of bad passes by Chris Chandler. That's surprising.
Well, he's normally very accurate throwing that ball downfield. You know, he's got a lot of experience.
You know, and he didn't practice all week, and I think that takes a toll. Anytime a player doesn't get the opportunity to practice during the week. Plus, he's been knocked to the ground a few times here, too.
Yeah,
there's no telling if those ribs may be hurting through his motion.
Well, they didn't get pressure that time, too, Billy, because they kept the wing back in and the blocking back in, so they were protecting with 8 people. You know.
Dick, is this Rams offense one of the best you've ever seen?
It is the best I've ever seen.
There you go.
It's extremely well coached. The scheme is good. And Mike Martz is tremendous game day calling the offense.
Great punt coverage by Elijah Williams. The Rams are tucked down at the 3-yard line. We'll be right back. The Rams leading the Falcons 37-21, and here with the former coach, the Super Bowl champion, Coach Dick Vermeil. Dick, Kurt Warner is one of the great football stories in recent years. What was it about him that you saw after Trent Green went down that gave you the confidence that he could take over and be the #1 guy?
Well, first off, we saw it before Trent Green went down to make him our backup quarterback.
On first down, Marshall Faulk up around the 9-yard line, picked up about 5 on the play. Go ahead, Dick.
Well, he could throw the ball accurately against our defense. He really did a good job throwing it off cards, running the opponent offense, and he threw it accurately. In fact, he was the MVP offensive scout team player as voted by the defense. The next year, he's MVP in the league. But you could see he could do that. What you couldn't see is how well he would play under pressure. What he proved to us is he could play better under pressure than he played on the practice field. And that's the game slows down for him on Sunday, and I've never been around anybody like him.
It's an amazing story. If Trent Green doesn't go down, we may never heard of Kurt Warner.
But Trent Green would have been very, very successful too, but we would not have heard of Kurt Warner, no question.
Marshall Faulk. Hey, that was a pretty good acquisition, Marshall Faulk. Look at the numbers for the Rams 2 weeks ago before the bye, and in this game they put up over 1,000 yards on offense, 94 points. That's the game against San Diego.
Over 600 against San Diego, over 400 today.
Well, I don't think you can stop him. The design, the scheme, the talent, the coaching, the confidence that they have, and then the guy that pulls the trigger, Kurt Warner. When he has him open, he normally hits him.
3rd and a long yard for the Rams. The toss to Falk, and the Falcons are there. He comes up short of the first down. And the Rams will be forced to punt.
I would like to go back and try to remember the last time I saw the Rams offense run 3 running plays in a row. Wasn't that just 3 runs we saw?
That's right.
I don't know if that's happened yet this year. Heck, they opened up the San Diego game with 19 passes. I know that run wasn't in there anywhere.
Someone will say Coach Martz is getting conservative.
Oh, could be.
That'll be the headlines, right?
John Baker working overtime today. 3 punts. Tim Dwight is deep for Atlanta. Falcons should get the ball in good field position with 6:20 remaining. Here comes Dwight on the run. Let it go for Winslow Oliver. And he's pulled down immediately at the 49-yard line in Rams territory. So let's see what the Falcons can do. Dick Vermeil, great to see you. Continued good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Take care.
That series 2 games to 1 in favor of the Mets. If there's a game 6, it'll be back in St. Louis Wednesday night. Game 5 will be tomorrow night on Fox.
There it is.
Chandler for Tim Dwight, just off his fingertips. He beat Todd Light on the play, just missed being a big play for the Falcons.
Well, they got the man-to-man on Todd Light, which they wanted with the motion, and
how close.
Right off the fingertips. And that over-the-shoulder catch is the hardest catch to make.
Dwight playing with the injured ribs and the flak jacket. Jamie German is in. 3 wide receivers for the Falcons on 2nd and 10. Christian in motion. Falcons need to score. Too far. He just threw it up for grabs, and a flag goes in.
They're going to call him on that. They're going to call him on the trip. It just looked like their feet got tangled just in the process of things. Looked like just your normal incidental contact.
Maybe Dre Bly on this play. Let's see.
Pass interference. 32 defense.
Dre Bly.
Automatic first down.
Here it is, right in here.
Yeah, a little bit. Slowed him down. Got him off balance. Dre Bly is called for the interference. Gives the Falcons a first down at the Rams 43. Tim Dwight in motion. Chandler throws for Dwight. He's got it. There's a flag down in the secondary of the Rams. And it's against St. Louis. Holding call. But they got enough on the pass completion for a first down as Mike Martz looks on. And the Falcons move deep into Rams territory.
Holding 41 defense. Penalty is declined. The result of the play, the first down.
Todd Light has not had a good game today.
Heck no. He's had holding calls. He's had pass interference calls. He had the penalty on the punt, the illegal block in the back. That's a guy that missed all of training camp in a contract dispute. Didn't get any of the work, then came in and had the turf toe. He struggled this year.
Jamal Anderson motions outside and sets. Chandler throwing for Terrence Mathis and overthrows him again.
Yeah, that's another. We got two players down.
Oh boy.
We have a Ram player down.
Galen Hyder. And it looks like Travis Claridge, the right tackle. Yeah, Claridge for the Falcons. Shaken up on the play, having trouble getting up. And Galen Hyder,
wow,
who's making his first NFL start, is down. And neither team can afford to lose either player.
Oh, here's Hyder right here, 94. They both kind of got rolled up, it looked like.
Claridge trying to get up. He's been on all fours a couple of times, but he just can't put any weight on that leg. Travis Claridge, one of two rookies who'd been starting for the Falcons, but they lost Michael Thompson last week when early in the game against the Giants he tore an Achilles tendon and has undergone surgery. We'll step out for a moment. Defensive line have held up for the Rams. Gonita has been solid. Hyder in his first NFL start has done well. Young has not seen action, but now on the sideline is Galen Hyder being checked out, the right knee.
Yeah, you know, they really answered the call, especially after halftime. I think they gave up their 61 yards total, but 58 of those yards came before the halftime, and they were attacked early there. But the second half, they really tightened the screws down on it.
Leonard Little, number 57, has moved in as a down lineman on the left side.
That's their nickel package. Yeah. He's rushing.
Chandler under pressure, goes over the middle. He's got a man. It's knocked down.
Underthrown too. Tim Dwight was wide open.
Dre Bly makes a terrific play. He did have a man behind him, but Bly was there to knock it down. And Chandler has been a little bit off on some of his passes today.
Yeah, and I think that has to do with the injury and missing all that time. Because he's had some time. He's got time on this pass right here. And that ball's just thrown short.
They've got to get to the 22 for a first down.
Third and forever. They haven't been real good on third downs today. Or for the year.
Chandler fires, and it's knocked down. Pass interference.
Yep.
Dexter McCleon, number 21. He reached over the back.
Well, where was his hand? If his arm was around his hip, or he came through the back of him, that's when the flag should come out.
That's going to give the Falcons a first down. Rams are upset with the call.
Now see, if his arm is around the back of his waist in a hooking motion, then the flag will come out. Let's take a look. I don't know. I don't know about that. I questioned that other call that they got up there too on Dre Bly before. Yeah, they're called, so it is pass interference, but I think it's been funny how the pass interference has been called this game. We've seen different versions of it.
Travis Claridge is back in for the Falcons at right guard. Todd McClure had come in for a couple of plays. So good news for the Falcons. They've got a first down at the Rams 17.
I don't know if you can play it much better than Dexter McClellan just played that.
3 wide receivers for the Falcons. Chandler. Down he goes. Grant Wistrom. 3rd sack of the game for the Rams. Wistrom had 2.5 against the Falcons in their first meeting.
You know, a lot of this has to do with, watch the jump he gets on the ball. Wistrom is at the top right of the screen. See, Bob Whitfield had a look inside. The Falcons are going on a silent snap count. So Bob Whitfield has to turn his head all the way inside to the center and look to see his head go up and then back down. And when it comes back down, that's when he snaps the ball. Watch Whitfield's head. See, he's got to look inside to the ball. And that gives the advantage to Wistrom.
On 2nd down from the 25. Outside to Bob Christian. And he's out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Grant Wistrom, important man on the defense for the Rams.
Well, you know, there's a lot of guys that give effort, but there are only a few guys that can play bigger than their body through the whole game. When he is in the game, he does not take it down off. He gives you everything and more that can possibly come from within him. Heck, he played the whole Super Bowl with a shoulder injury that his arm was just dangling. It was detached.
Falcons have to get to the 7-yard line for a first down. It's 3rd and 9. Chandler to the end zone. Overthrows Jamie German. And that's been the story of the second half. Chandler has overthrown Mathis several times. He overthrew German there.
And it's 4th down, you know, go for it. I mean, what the heck?
4:32 remaining.
Maybe the Rams have started a new trend. They got another guy open here, too, and that ball was just thrown over his head.
And now the Falcons call timeout to talk it over. Big play for them. Falcons' record when Chris Chandler has started and finished a game has been outstanding. 23-11 since he joined them. But in this game, they are behind by 16, and they must come up with something right here. Well, we talked about great offensive teams of the past. Let's take you back to the 1941 Chicago Bears. They won 73-0 in the championship in 1940. The next year, they were even better, led by the quarterbacking of Sid Luckman. The 41 Chicago Bears averaged 36 points a game, but still not as much as this year's Rams.
You know, Sid Luckman is the all-time Bears passing leader, still to this day.
Well, we took a look at the 7 greatest offensive teams in NFL history. But these Rams have put up 450 yards and 37 points today. And now the Falcons, 4th and 9. They're 1 for 6 on 4th downs this season. Anderson goes far to the left side. Everybody out.
Tim Dwight in the corner.
Open man, he's got it. Touchdown. What a catch by Tim Dwight.
He had to go up and get that.
That was a good throw, but a real solid throw. I thought a hard pass, but a good one by Chandler. Dwight's a little guy, you know. That's why he had to go up. So now the Falcons are down by 10, and they need a 2-point conversion. First points of the second half for the Atlanta Falcons. It's 37-27, and the Falcons go for 2.
Maybe the Rams have started a trend.
3 wide receivers. Kozlowski tight right end. Everybody out. Chandler tied.
Hey, you can't do that to Kozlowski. You can't do that. That's pass interference.
Well, what'd they do?
Because Kozlowski's my guy. Hey, look, you can't do that to Koz.
They held him.
Oh, they mugged him. You kidding me? Call the police.
So the Falcons will try again.
Holding defense, number 59. Half the distance. Retry.
Here's Koz. And watch Koz try to get off and watch what happens. Everybody.
They called it on London Fletcher, but I thought it was right there on Devin Bush. Well, now the Falcons try from the 1-yard line. Kozlowski in motion. Jamal Anderson to the goal line. He's in. 2 points for the Atlanta Falcons. It's an 8-point game. So Jamal Anderson with some words for London Fletcher. And the Falcons march in.
Here's Tim Dwight. He's in the slot. And what they get, see, they take Jones and put him out on the backer, and they bring right in here, they bring the corner in. That's Dre Bly. But Dre Bly lets Dwight go a little too early. He releases him to Bush in the zone, but he should carry him deeper. There was nobody underneath for Dre Bly to jump up on. He should have carried Dwight all the way to Bush.
Great catch by Tim Dwight, and here's the 2-point conversion. Jamal Anderson
from the 1-yard line. And see the big gaps they got here and here? That's where they attacked them too.
And Jamal with some power pushes his way in. Now the Rams huddling up on the near side as you look at Tim Dwight.
You know what's, I'm sorry, Sam. You know what's amazing though?
Yeah.
The Falcons offense only has about 213 yards of total offense, and they're almost up near 30 points. That's pretty doggone good.
Rams are expecting an onside kick. Morton Anderson. In their previous meeting, the Falcons recovered an onside kick early in the game. Rams have their hands guys up there.
That little pooch kick, you try to drop it right over that front line. Drop it right over him.
No, he kicks it long. Bounces. Tony Horn takes it at the 10. Falcons have him surrounded and bring him down at the 20-yard line. Well, there's plenty of time.
Well, you know why? Because in 4 minutes you want to kick it away, Sam. Do you know why you want to do that? Because field position. Now, if you can force them to punt somehow, some way, you're going to get the field swing in your favor. If you onside it or you pooch kick it, then you're giving the Rams a short field. They don't want to give up any more points.
Well, you're asking a lot from your defense.
Do you think they'll call off the dogs?
No. 8-point game. Ooh, Warner almost dropped the ball. The pass outside is complete. And out of bounds goes Torrey Holt. Kurt Warner's over 300 yards passing.
Watch the snap. You see Kurt Warner's left hand. You see how much that opened up when he came out from under center there? He dropped his left hand as that snap was coming out. And then again, he moved before the ball was snapped.
Tied Steve Young's record for most consecutive 300-yard passing games, 6 straight. Steve Young did that in 1998. Ball to 35, the toss to Marshall Faulk. He turns the corner. Big day for Marshall Faulk. And the offense starts to roll. Ashley Ambrose with a tackle. But Faulk takes it up to midfield.
You know, a lot of people always ask the question, well, if the Rams didn't have all those wideouts, could they line up and run the ball? I mean, this ought to be your answer. This guy doesn't get enough credit as a dominating running back because he's in an offense in which he lines up a lot of times at wide receiver or he's catching the ball out of the backfield on routes, but lining up in a pure eye back, he's as good as anybody.
Season high 158 yards rushing. James Hodgins, number 42, is in at fullback. Ball at the Falcons 46. Faulk gets through the hole down to the 43. Ronnie Bradford on the tackle, and the Falcons call timeout.
Timeout, Atlanta. Their second charge timeout, the 30-second timeout.
Faulk runs inside, he runs outside.
He can do just about anything. You know, and the thing about it is, you know, as great as a career as he had at Indianapolis before he got here, I barely remember all any things he did at Indianapolis. You know, they got to the AFC Championship game, and of course, you know, they had a pretty good team there, but it's still hard for me to remember because they have him doing so many things on this team. They use him a lot more as a receiver in this offense, as a wide receiver split now, really pressuring the defense.
Second game of our doubleheaders coming up. Pat Summerall, John Madden in Green Bay to bring you the 49ers and the Packers. That follows the conclusion of this game. And don't forget tonight, Game 4 of the National League Championship Series, Cardinals and Mets, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Marshall Faulk, 20 carries, 165 yards, carries again. And a lot more. Takes it outside, inside the 20, before he's finally pulled down by Marty Carter and Ashley Ambrose.
It's amazing watching these guys play. Honestly, they do what they want. This isn't a bad Atlanta defense. The teams they play, San Diego Chargers, aren't a bad defense. Heck, they were one in the top 10. They were number 1 2 years ago. This offense is just amazing. They can hit you with anything. They change gears on the fly. They'll go from an all wide-out team to a power I team. They'll go to a double tight end. It doesn't matter. And they do everything so well.
189 yards rushing. The season high was 201 by Deuce Staley against the Dallas Cowboys. Falk goes outside. And he's inside the 15 to the 13.
You think a 4-minute back, you think of Jerome Bettis, you think of Ron Dane, you think of somebody that when there's 4 minutes left to go and you have the lead, you chew up the clock. Marshall Faulk is all of that.
The Falcons have used all their timeouts. The Rams, after the deep kickoff, got the ball at the 21-yard line, and they have come down to the Falcons 13, chewed up 2 minutes of playing time. And the Falcons desperate to stop them, but right now the Rams have got it back in high gear. So Falk with 195 yards rushing. Look at the offense today, 516 yards.
They're averaging 500 yards in a game.
And besides his rushing, let's not forget that he's also been one of the top receivers in the game for the Rams. Did you ever have one of those hats? No, huh? 78 yards receiving for Marshall Faulk in the game. Here's Faulk on the delay. Down around the 11-yard line. Patrick Kearney, number 97, with a tackle. This will bring up a 3rd down play as we come down to the 2-minute warning. The Falcons are out of timeouts.
We have another injury on the field.
2-minute warning.
Marshall Faulk has 275 total yards. That's Adam Timmerman, the right guard. The Rams have already lost right tackle Ryan Tucker to an ankle injury. Back for the final 2 minutes in a moment. Timmerman limped off, right leg injury. Marshall Faulk with a career-high 197 yards rushing, slips a tackle, bursts forward inside the 5, and finally wrestled down at the 3. And this is a season-high rushing in the NFL. What a game for Marshall Faulk.
I want you to watch the air brakes he puts on. Here comes Jesse Tuggle. Watch him fill. Now watch Faulk. You talk about making a guy. That's unbelievable.
2, 3, 4. Four missed tackles.
He's running full speed downhill into the line. Here comes Jesse Tuggle, who has a bead on him, a direct shot, and it's just the slightest little wiggle, and he's by him.
205 yards rushing, season high in the NFL by Marshall Faulk, and a career high for him. Faulk again, he goes in, touchdown.
From the time they got the ball with 4 minutes left, every play has been to Marshall Faulk.
Big blocks provided by Robert Holcomb, Jeff Robinson, and Roland Williams.
And they've got to go for 2.
That's right.
You know what? What the heck? Let Chris Thomas try to kick an extra point.
Nope. Marshall Faulk, 7 carries, 65 yards on the drive. What a performance. He leads the NFL in combined yardage, came in with 797, over 200 yards rushing, and 78 yards receiving. 2-point try with Justin Watson and James Hodgins in the backfield. The play fake. Warner looking, throwing, complete. It's good.
Roland Williams.
They do it again. The tight end, Roland Williams, with the catch for the two-point conversion. The third successful two-point conversion of the game for the Rams.
Talk about coming into a game and feeling inferior. They do what they want, when they want, and how they want to do it.
Wow. Marshall Faulk, 208 yards rushing. And for the Rams, they're over 40 points for the fourth consecutive game and for the fifth time in 6 games this season. They just pile it up. Today was Marshall Faulk Day. Even though Kurt Warner passed for over 300 yards, this day belongs to Marshall Faulk.
Well, they're right on pace with everything. You know, yards per game, they're right along their average. 550 yards today. Their average is 505. You saw the points per game. They're right on average with that.
And every week, and we heard it today from Dick Vermeil, their former coach, every week you hear somebody else saying this is the best offense they've ever seen.
Ever in the NFL.
Chris Thomas has been doing the kicking off. The left-footed wide receiver. The kickoff, Tim Dwight from the 17. Waiting for a lane to open up. Weaves his way up to the 38. 1:03 remaining. Let's go to JB for an update on the Giants and the Cowboys.
Well, after a horrible day by Troy Aikman, he was hoping to pull out a miracle with 3 seconds left in the ball game. Throwing this pass to the intended receiver, Damon Hodge. It's incomplete. Dallas not with a back-to-back win since week 4 last year, losing it to the Giants. Back to Sam and Bill.
Thanks, JB. And the Giants keep pace with the Redskins. They're both 5-2. Coming up next, 49ers and the Packers from Green Bay, with Pat Summerall and John Madden there to bring you all the action. Don't forget Game 4, National League Championship Series tonight here on Fox, beginning at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Chandler, no timeouts for the Falcons. Christian across midfield, pulled down at the Rams 47-yard line. Today's game is produced by Michael Burks, directed by Andy Kindle, associate director Rich Dewey, broadcast associate Tom Yohe. The technical producer is David Graham. The studio show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Jamal Anderson picks up a first down at the 36-yard line. Clock running. Falcons are out of timeouts. Thanks to our spotter Gary Lynn and our statistician in the booth Emmett McGuire. Mark Sosna with the stats down in the control room. Pass is complete to Brian Finneran at the 20-yard line.
And that'll do it.
And that's it. The Rams are 6-0. And Mike Martz becomes only the fourth rookie coach in NFL history to start 6-0. The last one was Red Miller of the Denver Broncos in 1977. Dick Vermeil. He's telling people about his former team. Mike Martz. His team is now 6-0. They win it 45-29. Back in St. Louis, where the Rams have beaten the Falcons 45-29, sweeping the season series. Here's today's UPS leaderboard. Kurt Warner, 24 for 40, 313 yards, 6 consecutive 300-yard passing games for him. Marshall Faulk, career high 208 yards rushing. That's a season high in the NFL. And Oz Hakeem with 7 receptions, a career high 73 yards. It started with kickoff returns for touchdowns on the first 2 plays of the game, and it never let up. But the Rams offense, too much for the Atlanta Falcons. The Rams are 6-0 as they win it 45-29. Game 2, 49ers and Packers next.